how they play a little bit, and they go back to that really direct crossing and finishing, really dangerous balls into the box, and Hegerberg gets on the end of them. So there are no surprises, but I do think they're extremely strong. Even though Montpastor doesn't have many options, she still has the likes of Le Sommer to come off the bench, who also is very, very capable.
Emma Spencer just mentioned that the battle, or this game rather, will be won or lost in the battle in the midfield. But do you think that Lyon's maybe main strength is that attacking front three?
Definitely, their front three is very, very strong, and I think that they will try to exploit Barca's fullback. So I think they'll play in wide areas a lot, which is what they did in 2019. All 4 goals came from wide areas. So it's definitely something I hope that Barca have looked at and have found a way to stop that, whether they stop it higher up the pitch, a high press, or whether they keep numbers back, Torrecon and Rolfo back, which won't happen. But in general, yes, midfield is very, very important, because whichever team keeps possession will allow their full-backs to go forward, and that's going to be in the midfield. Yeah.
Well, we just saw images, live images that is, from the fans who have come out in numbers to support this team out in the Plaza Catalunya, but they have also traveled all the way to Turin to support the girls. Let's see some images right now. You see there the players that are in their hotel that are really quite overwhelmed and quite joyful, of course, with seeing the fans who have come out to support them, saluting them from the balcony. And again, you'd love to see these kind of images, of course. You don't usually see that with the men's team, for example.
No, you don't. And I'm looking at them and thinking it's a lovely thing. But for me, I wouldn't have liked that. I have to focus so much on the game, on the day of the game. I can't even, have this in my mind. So, the players look very relaxed. They look more than happy to communicate with the fans. And that's wonderful, because it shows how relaxed they are.
Yeah, they're getting into a game mode today, I think. But when I see the fan support that comes for this team, I can't help but think, and maybe just because we're coming from Barça TV, we have a different perspective on it, but Lyon they might not be the reigning champions this year, but they're the reigning champions of this competition all time.
Yeah.
Right? They've won it 7 times.
Correct.
This is their 10th final now in what I believe is 13 years now. It's their 10th final in 13 years. They made 9 out of 11 before last year's final, which didn't include them. So this, in a way, I think feels like it could be a passing of the torch, but it could also, on the same hand, be Lyon saying, "Well, hold on a second. We're all this talk about Barça and dynasty and perfect and perfect season, or getting close to it despite the Wolfsburg loss. We're still here." But from a fan perspective, I think that changing of the guard has already taken place, because if there aren't as many Lyon fans there, we've seen this. You can name any sport, you can name any team, you can name any competition. When a team starts winning consistently, over and over and over again, the fans become a little bit more numb to it. And at times maybe even spoiled, is a word we could use.
Yeah.
The Barca fans here understand that this is where it begins. This is where these players, this team, need to take that next step, and they've all come out to support them today.
They definitely have, Spence. And on that note, why don't we connect one last time with Jamie Coles over in Turin, Italy, to get a real sense of what the atmosphere is like over there. Jamie.
Yeah, the atmosphere here is absolutely incredible. There's fans still trickling in, but a lot of them are already inside now. They've been lining up to get in for the last 2 hours or so. And, well, we've been in the centre most of the day before we headed out to the stadium here, and everywhere we looked, there were Barca shirts. It was absolutely incredible. It's almost like being in Barcelona. The main 2 things I really want to stress here is how warm it is. It's 33 degrees. You can see the sun beating down on me. Fortunately, there's a bit of shade inside the stadium. And the fact that there's just Barca fans absolutely everywhere. There are Lyon fans. I have seen some, but I'd hazard a guess that they're outnumbered today. We'll see once we get in there, I guess. But yeah, no, it's been an absolute pleasure to spend some time with the fans. And I was able to speak to some earlier this afternoon as well.
I'm from Sweden.
Mexico and Sweden, you've come a long way to be here.
Well, I came from London, but still, traveling just to watch them,
All the way to Turin to watch this match. What's important about it for you?
Well, I think now we're living a different era for women's football. and I needed to be part of it. I went to the Camp Nou the two matches, so I needed to be in the final. Yeah, for sure.
What do you think the score is going to be tonight?
Oh, wow.
Do you dare?
I think 3-1 Barça, of course.
And where are you from?
Barcelona.
From Barcelona. How did you get here to Turin?
With a bus, a long hours of bus.
How many hours?
10?
10 hours.
10 hours.
10 hours on a bus. This must be really important for you.
Yes, it's very important. It's a final.
Are you excited for the match?
Very excited and nervous. We want to see it now.
What do you think the score might be?
Wow. I think 3-1 for Barcelona.
Yes, me too. We're gonna win.
How did you get here to Turin?
With bus. Yes,
On-
from Barcelona, it's like 8-9 hours with the bus, and then we got here at 7:30 a.m.
Wow, so this must be very important for you to be here for this match.
Yeah, but I think it's more important for the girls that are playing today. They need our support.
Are you excited for the match?
Yeah, very excited. We want to win. We are going to win. We are going. Yes.
We're going to win. What's the score going to be?
5-0.
Yes. 4-1, 5-0. Yes.
You have to think big. Like you have to dream big.
Well, you have to dream big indeed, and that's certainly what this team is doing at the moment. Of course, eager to add to this excellent season that they've been having currently, as well as that second consecutive title. And the fans want it. The fans are out there in numbers as well. Over 15,000 fans. We heard it from Jamie and you, Emma, as well. Barça shirts literally everywhere. And how telling is it that the fans have come out in such big numbers to support this team, traveling long distances, long hours as well, as we heard, 13-hour bus rides to support this team?
Yeah, it just shows how much the game in general has grown, but particularly Barça, I've said it before, Barça Femení are catalyst for women's football, and they're showing exactly how it should be done, and hopefully the rest of the clubs can catch up with them soon. But the fans are expecting a win for sure. They're going out there to celebrate, and it's only a small percentage of what was in Camp Nou, so you can be sure that this is going to stay. These numbers are going to stay, because if they're making the effort to travel across the world, they're definitely going to come and watch the home games, which is fantastic. It's a great thing.
That's right. Spence, just to add to that, we've seen this team, of course, break multiple records, both on and off the pitch, filling out the Camp Nou twice, and what were record-breaking attendance for this for women's matches.
Yeah, I think it's really easy to say the game has grown, that we've gotten to this point where we're filling up stadiums like this. But once you do it a second time, I think you can confidently say, forget about how the game has grown. We're here. This game is here, and it's here to stay. And especially the 3 interviews that I just saw Jamie give, especially the second one, the 2 ladies who came on the bus, the first set of ladies who came from the bus, they were like, look, we're here. We have to support the team. Like, this is it. And to me, that just shows you the power that Barça has as a team, as a unifying unit. And that's why, as much as the game has grown, for a game like this, I don't even think that's part of the conversation today. I think today it's the game, and this is what we're all here to see. This is the marquee event of the day on this continent, perhaps in the world.
It certainly doesn't get any bigger than this. At this point in time, why don't we hear from one of the protagonists? Let's head on over to Turin to hear from assistant coach Navarro.
All these players have worked really hard to be here in the final. Now we are here and we want to compete and try to beat this big rival that we have to face, and to have all our fans here. Well, we want to thank them because they're gonna help us a lot, and we're gonna try to play a good game. Well, that final in Budapest against Olympique Lyon in 2019, things have changed a lot. This is an extra motivation for the squad. Yes, all our players, practically all our players in our squad, they've lost a final against Olympique Lyon. So yes, this is a special motivation for us. And we are really excited to beat Lyon. Well, we have to talk about, yes, your opponents. We are talking about different styles between these two teams. And I want to ask you, which Olympique Lyon are you expecting today in the final? Well, we are talking about a really good team, have won 4 of the last 5 Champions League editions, and we expect a strong side with a good defense. They probably try to press up front. And as we have been working for this final, we have worked hard to play well with the ball from the back, also to play in our opponent's field, and our objective is to create many chances and score many goals. Well, good luck. Thank you.
The words there of assistant coach Navarro, also talking, of course, about that event that occurred 3 years ago, that final in 2019, where Barça lost at the hands of Olympique Lyon by 4-1. So there must be a certain, say, sense of revenge within the dressing room, would you say?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, winning the Champions League last year was fantastic and a massive, massive accomplishment. But at the end of the day, they still hadn't beaten Lyon, who destroyed them the year before.
Right.
And this is the game that they want. They want Lyon in the final. They want to prove they're better than them. And they want to show how far they've come since 2019. And they want to beat them well, just like Lyon did to them. So it's a massive thing for them. They won't be thinking about last year's final. They'll be thinking, this is the game to prove we are the best in the world.
Yeah, everybody in this sport has to go through those growing pains to get to the top.
Right.
Even Lyon, they lost in 2010 before they ever won a Champions League final. They lost to Potsdam. That was played here in Spain at the Coliseum Alfonso Pérez in Getafe. And then the next year they came back against Potsdam. They beat them, their first Champions League title. And here we are now 10 years later, and they've got 7 of them. So it's almost like that, like I was saying, the passing of the torch, the rite of passage, to be able to look your opponent who has taken you down before in the eye and say, we're here to play this time too, we're here to best you, and that's what Barça are going to try to do today.
Now, both of these teams have come such a long way as well since 2007, which was the year that Lyon won their first domestic league. That was actually the year that Barça got relegated as well, and it was a point in time in the club where a big decision had to be made, whether the club was going to stick with this project and opt for a long-term approach, or even potentially maybe cut the project. Luckily, of course, for all Barça fans, the club did stick with it and ending up winning, of course, their first title in 2012. That's now 10 years ago. Let's also remind our viewers that this club the women's team has been professionalized only for 7 years. In 2015 was the year that they actually become a professional football club.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's clubs do have to, back the women's team. They have to put money behind it, and they have to support them until they get to a stage where they're, winning these things and they have the sponsorship and they can get the money in themselves. But, just talking about Barça, I remember we played them in the Champions League and we beat them something like 6-1 on aggregate. And you could see they were good technically, but they just weren't physically strong enough to compete.
Yeah, and that was...
That was a very long time ago, Diego.
Sorry, I didn't mean to go there.
And up until about 2 years ago, they couldn't compete physically. Even against Lyon 2019, it was the physicality along with other things that was a problem. And Barça have completely changed that. And that's from all the hard work they've done on the pitch. It's the same with you bring players in as well, though. Barça have brought in absolutely exceptional players, which are world class, like Caroline Graham-Hansen.
Yeah.
Rolfo's done really, really well since you come in. And they've built on that, and that just, it breeds a winning mentality, and you can just see how much they've grown and how quick the game has become. So they added their technical skill, which they already had, and they just developed the other parts, like the strength, the pace, not making mistakes, being stronger at the back. And that's since 2019. They've really improved defensively, and they have to if they're going to play against Anna Hegerberg.
And in that sense, I mean, the formula has been pretty much the same that we see with the men's first team as well as with the women's team now. This mix of, as you alluded to, superstars, but also La Masia products.
As we were just talking about, we've seen historically that you can bring as many players in as you want, and it doesn't mean you're going to win titles and that you're automatically going to be the best in your craft. You do have to have that mixture, and in this case, it all starts with Melanie, right? She's on the bench. I would be shocked if she didn't get in for a few minutes, depending on the flow of the game tonight. And in her speech about a week and a half ago now, her retirement speech, she said, look, I started in 2003. I was a 13-year-old girl.
Wow.
I was playing on a dirt pitch. We were sharing pitches, training pitches with 4 other teams. We were playing late at night, and then on and on and on. And look at us now. We've sold out the Camp Nou twice. So it just goes to show you that a project like that does take time. And it also takes, as you said, Diego, the investment of the club, and the investment of everybody willing to put their chips into this pot and this project. And right now, Barça are reaping the benefits of that. And other teams can take note.
And what about the sustainability of this project currently, but also looking at it long term? Is this is the path forward?
Well, I think all you need to do is look at this picture right here and see how sustainable it is. It's got the support of the fans. They have their unique support, as if it's not just the men's fans that come and watch. It's actually fans of women's football, and they're very, very determined to go to the games, and they're enthusiastic, and I think that's going to grow even more. I think the more Barca win, because winning does, it does encourage people to come and watch, and they wanted to come and see a team win, so they came and watched the women's team. It makes sense.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. And of course, perhaps there's no bigger matchup in women's football currently than this Barça-Lyon. I said it at the top of the show, and I said it several times, dubbing this the biggest women's club football match in history. Is that a fact?
I think so.
With Lyon trying to reclaim and Barça perhaps maintain, of course, their status within women's football.
I think so.
Given the stakes, I mean, if you had been able to hand select the 2 teams to play in this final, I think this would have been it, right? I don't think you can put anybody. Maybe you would have put Arsenal in there, but I mean, other than that,
I wouldn't have. Definitely not. No, it just people have been texting me throughout the season. Oh my God, how good are Barca? They did this. They're amazing. Blah blah blah. And I'm like, yes, they are. But they haven't beaten Lyon.
Well, you talk about that. The fact that they haven't conquered Lyon yet, is that, I mean, just the cherry on top of all of this?
Absolutely. They need to beat them today to be that team that everybody's talking about, the best in the world. Nobody can touch them because they haven't beaten Lyon yet. For me, I need them to beat Lyon.
And
even in an exhibition, because these teams, we saw, actually you can see it right there on your screen. The last game these teams played was in the summer of last August. That was in the International Champions Cup, the ICC, over in the US, when they played each other, and then they each played an NWSL team. Now, if you want to look at sustainability and trying to create a fan base in a project, that's the place to go. Because outside of this game, the best football, the best women's football in the world right now is being played in the United States. So that game too, though, even if Barca had won that game,
I'm going to disagree with you.
All right, well, we're just going to have to agree to disagree on that one.
Well, what's your claim?
I think the Women's Super League is better. I think it's better football. I think but that's fine. We can do that.
And you know
we
what?
can disagree with
The
that.
seasons run on opposite ends, so we can just watch it all.
Yeah, watch them both. Watch it all, exactly.
It's a win-win.
But this is still a hump that they need to get over because they couldn't even do it in an exhibition, and it wouldn't have counted if they had.
Now, we of course know the success that this women's team have had since their loss at the hands of Lyon in 2019, going on to win Ligas this season as well. Just 30 for 30, massive season. It's been so impressive. But how has this Lyon team changed since 2019?
Well, they were missing Hegerberg, so that for me that was a big loss for them. It's one of the reasons why they weren't in the final last year. They've developed their younger players. It's a very similar team, to be honest. It's really similar, but those players have grown, they've matured and developed a little bit. They've lost a couple of players, but to be quite honest, it's very similar. I just think with Anna Hegerberg coming back in recently, it's just boosted them again, and she just changes everything in that team because they're extremely good down in the wide areas. They're extremely good at delivering the ball into the box, but they just didn't have that clinical finisher. And now she's back in, everything seems to be just fitting into place. It's like she's the clog in that machine, and it just works. And I think they're going to be, really difficult today. They're going to be difficult to beat. Barça need to be very, very careful of the wide areas, especially our fullbacks, and also set pieces because they're very good in the air. So Sandra Paños is going to have to be on her game today.
Emma, you touched upon a key name there of Anna Hegerberg, of course, also once the Golden Ball winner, the Balón de Oro, much like Alexia Putellas. And in that sense, is that maybe the if you would call it, the key matchup, even though they won't be necessarily battling each other individually? Is that what you would see on the front pages? Anna Hegerberg against Alexia Putellas?
I'm going to say, I'd say no, but realistically, I know what both of those players are thinking, and they're thinking, I want to be the best on this pitch. I want to show people I'm the best in the world, because they're extremely competitive, and it's how they should be. And, at the moment, Alexia holds that, and it's completely deserved. But I know for a fact, on the pitch, football-wise, Hegerberg is extremely competitive, like crazy competitive. And I know she's going to be doing everything she can to show that today.
Wow. Spence, how do you see this?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that Alexia being the reigning Ballon d'Or winner, the one who is sort of cradling it under her arm right now, it's not something that she's going to want to give up. And we've heard her talk about so many times how she wants to be here and win absolutely everything. And I think we hear you talk about the competitiveness of Hegerberg. It's very similar. Players like that enjoy the idea of, okay, what have I won now? Well, that's great, but it's not enough. That we need to go for more. And in Barça's case for this year, for Alexia, there's still 2 more trophies to chase after. Because, of course, you've got actually both of these teams, if we're being honest, because Lyon have yet to lock up the league title with 2 games to go. They still have work to do in that sense because they will have PSG one more time, who potentially can catch them if they beat them next week. But that competitiveness, it can drive you, and for some, it restricts you and it limits your ability to carry out what you're trying to accomplish, and for others it just motivates them further, and for Hegerberg and for Alexia that's how it works.
Let's talk a little bit about the battle on the benches, if you will. In the case of Lyon, their head coaches, of course, she won the Champions League title with Lyon as well. In the case of Jonathan Giraldez, he's at the cusp of becoming the youngest manager to win the Champions League ever. What's this opportunity for both coaches, and how much credit also should we give to Jonathan Giraldez for maintaining the success of this team?
It's a difficult job. He's a really difficult job because we've such high expectations. We do, the players do, everybody does, the world for Barça. So, it's not an easy job he took on, and he had to make some decisions for this game today. So he'd be under a little bit of pressure. I think it will be something that Dries Cortés couldn't do. So I think it is a massive honour for him. Again, we talk about just Barça playing Lyon. They need to beat them to be crowned European champions, properly. And of course he's going to want to be the manager to do that. He also knows Lyon's capabilities, and for Bonpastor, she's under pressure as well because Lyon haven't been performing, they haven't been winning trophies the last 2 years, and people expect that of them. So, you know, this for me is it's a pressure situation for both of them, and both of them need to win.
Yeah, it's a game of options too, especially you talked about the bench, Diego. When Barça go to their bench, what is it going to look like? Because from an attacking perspective, you've got Pina, you've got Oshoala, you've got Martins, you've got Crnogorcevic as well. Leila can replace Rolfo and be that attacking option down the left-hand side on the wing as a left back. It doesn't really feel like the kind of game where even if Barca grab a lead, they're going to say, well, yeah, let's pump the brakes a little bit and just try to defend. That's not their way. That's not what they're going to do. So it's going to make it really difficult for some of the other players like an Ingrid Engen or an Andrea Pereira to get into this game because there are so many great attacking options. If Barca are leading, they're going to want to pile on more. And of course, if Barca are trailing or the game is close late, they're going to be putting on attacking options so that they can get that final goal to put them over the top.
Yeah, and that might be the key because Barca do have a better bench. They have a better bench, and they can bring on players that can change a game, and that could actually be what wins it for them because there aren't many differences between these teams. But if you have a player like Asisat Oshoala or Lieke Martins who can come in with a huge amount of pace, I think that's going to be key in the second half.
And Oshoala also, just to go on top of that, she has missed a number of really good chances the last couple of weeks since coming back, where her teammates have gotten her in behind. She's had to take one or two dribbles. She gets to the edge of the box. She might saunter in for a dribble, and she's been denied by several keepers now on a number of occasions, and that's not like her. She's going to be wanting to put one away. I would say she's overdue, and this might be the kind of game where that happens.
I want to focus a little bit more again on the coaches. In the case of Sonia Bonpastor, I mentioned that she was also, as a player, winner for Lyon in the Champions League. In that sense, does that experience, how much will that weigh in a match like this in the Champions League final compared to Jonathan Giraldez, who, again, it's not his first time around. Of course, last year he was the assistant coach, but now with both at the helm and leading their teams, does that experience factor in at all, the fact that she was also a player and a winner of the Champions League?
I don't think so, personally. I don't think so. I think she will be calm. I think might be able to, you know, instill that calmness on the players. But all of these players out here are very experienced players. They don't need anyone else to influence them. They know what they have to do. Looking at Jonathan Giraldez here, he looks very calm.
Yeah, just 30 years of age.
He's a baby. He's a baby. But yeah, the players know exactly what they're doing. Yes, she might have won the Champions League. She's loads of experience with France. I've played against her loads of times. Extremely good player, really good midfielder. But when it comes to her delivering that kind of message to her players, it doesn't really matter.
Where do you stand on that, Spence?
Yeah.
And also with regards to Jonathan Giraldez, the credit that has to be given to the head coach.
Yeah, it's not easy to maintain the standard, as Emma was saying, from a year ago. It's, I think, a moment that at some point Jonathan Giraldez will look up in the stands, probably similar to what he did at the Camp Nou, and he said, here we are, right? I think there's a moment for everybody in big events like this, regardless of who you are. Maybe with a few exceptions. Maybe Alexia, who knows that she's going to be there, right? But everybody on that pitch today looks up and says, wow, we're here at the Champions League final. And that instills a different reaction to certain people. And there might be a moment of nervousness, a moment of tension, but in the end, that calm does take you over, and that's why you see him as relaxed as he is right now. There aren't too many more messages he can deliver to his team outside of the preparation that they've made. And he said that too. He said, if we prepare this way, we know that we'll come ready and come at our best. And clearly they've shown that they can do that.
Well, the minutes are ticking away there. We are 20 minutes away from kickoff at this point in time. Why don't we take a look at the road that has been for Barça this current Champions League campaign?
a nivell de les campiones d'Europa. Hem de seguir treballant i arribar en aquest nivell.
Repeat success, of course, that's the big question on everybody's mind. And more than just this campaign, this actually was a timeline of Barça's story so far in the Champions League. We talked about it a little bit already. Starting off, you talked about, you put it very nicely. What was the phrase? The trial and tribulations that a team has to go through in order to reach the top. All of the suffering that they had initially.
Yeah, you have to fail before you can succeed.
Yeah, and of course now at the point of smashing records. We saw the numbers there in attendance as well, and now at the cusp, of course, repeating success from last year. With that being said, all these numbers that are being thrown around can be a little bit overwhelming, so why don't we take a look at this following piece that highlights some of these numbers of Barça in this current Champions League campaign.
No team has been able to keep pace with the reigning champions. This is Barça's Champions League by the numbers. In the Champions League, this is the story of a team displaying the utmost dominance on both sides of the ball. Throughout their 6 group stage games, the Blaugrana proceeded to outscore their opponents by 23 goals. They averaged 4 goals per contest, allowing just 1 in total en route to their quarter-final meeting with Real Madrid. Their 8 goals in the quarters as a single team bested the other 3 matchups combined on aggregate scores over their 2-legged ties. What more, Sandra Paños has netted 4 clean sheets in that time, tied for the best in the competition. And in attack, who else but the Queen? The reigning Ballon d'Or winner Alexia Putellas has the joint most goals, 10, in this campaign, and can claim that title by herself with a goal in the final. By the numbers or by the eye test, this is the team to beat in the Champions League final.
Nice one, Spence. I like how you put the voice to that piece there. You really got a little flair to it.
Sorry, let me turn it on for you.
There's your
baritone
Spence there coming out with the numbers. Well, what is it? I mean, fantastic numbers, of course, for this team. What does it tell you?
There aren't enough numbers to exemplify the dominance that they've had this season. Truly. And we just did the Champions League there, but if you go to La Liga Iberdrola, in front of me, let's see, do I have it 159-11? Is that what it was? I'm hoping that number is the right one. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's a number of goals that they've scored in comparison to their opponents this year is not something that you're supposed to be seeing. It's borderline, I say borderline, disrespectful, the amount of goals that they score.
No, it's up to the other teams to catch up. I mean, obviously the stats are unbelievable, but for me it's a little bit worrying that other teams are so far behind. So, you know, it's time for them to pull up their socks and try to get to that same level. Otherwise the league becomes a little bit boring.
Yeah.
But in terms of Champions League, you know, it's really difficult. Champions League is a different ball game altogether than the domestic league, and you know, you're playing against the best of the best, and Barcelona have dominated that. As I said before, I'll say it again, this game, it doesn't really matter about anything that's come before, because this is the game that they need to prove it all.
Now, we talk about the confidence of this team, and as we're seeing images here of the quarterfinals between Barça and Real Madrid, the first game that was played over in Madrid, where Real Madrid actually took the lead. Are Barça maybe their own worst enemy, maybe relying or overly confident perhaps that they could find themselves being 1 goal down, not against a team like Madrid, against whom they're clearly superior, but against a team like Lyon?
I think it's really difficult because, you know, for a team to keep that level.
This for me.
Amazing goal,
Right here.
the best goal, yeah.
Oh.
Fantastic. It's really difficult for a team to keep that level, and they're only human. They will drop their focus or their concentration for a split second every now and again, and it's exactly what happened when they played against Real Madrid. Real Madrid were out to counter-attack both those games, and for the amount of times that they did it, it worked twice, and that was it. So, you know, there are times where they are going to lose their focus. Again, Wolfsburg away was a problem.
Real quick, Emma, was that a shot on goal or a cross?
I think it was a cross, but I might get into trouble.
Yeah. Of course, the second game was at home, played at the Camp Nou. It was the first record-breaking attendance between Barça and Madrid, and was the game really lived up to expectation.
Yeah, that was a beautiful goal too, as well. That almost gave you just a moment of doubt, but then Barça said, "No, don't worry, everything's okay." Aitana scoring at home. These games at the Camp Nou in front of 91,000 plus, I think they are going to be the images we remember from the season, even if Barça win tonight in Turin and obviously take home a trophy. I think these are the ones that we'll look back on and say, what a season it was.
Emma, you better than anyone can perhaps tell us what maybe these players were feeling out on the pitch that day, being surrounded by nearly 100,000 fans.
I'm just proud more than anything. Like this is their home ground. It's their stadium. It's their backyard. It's their fans, and you know they've waited for this occasion for a very long time. And to walk out into a stadium when it's just completely full of people wearing the same shirt as you are, it gives you just an incredible sense of proudness, and it's you want to perform for those fans out there. You want to show them, you know, give them a spectacle, and they did that. It was fantastic games at Camp Nou this year.
Well, here the first leg of the semi-finals between Barça and Wolfsburg, and what was the second record-breaking attendance for Barça set at the Camp Nou as well. And just to add to that, Emma, I mean, and how important is that fan factor? I mean, how much does that, I guess, animar el equipo, how much does that support the team to give it that little extra and
Yeah, massive.
Yeah.
It's a massive thing, especially the moments in the game where you don't realize it when you're on the pitch, but the moments where you've dipped a little bit.
Right.
And maybe a team is starting to, you know, come out on top. They might be winning those second balls. They might be, you know, just only slightly, but the pecking order has changed a little bit, and it's then when the fans really do lift you and energize you, and you know you do actually stop and think, I'm here, everybody's here, they're here to support us, they want more, let's give them more. So yeah, that the whole 12th man actually does work. It does, you know, give you that extra on the pitch.
And Barça, of course, lost that second leg over in Germany by 2-0. How annoyed do you think these players would have been with suffering a defeat? Would that annoy them at all? Would that maybe...
Extremely.
Yeah.
Extremely. The likes of Aitana Bonmati wouldn't have slept, and probably to this day was still up until yesterday was probably thinking about it a little bit.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, it would really kill them,
wow.
You know, just to even think, well, conceding 2 goals, never mind losing, like
right.
They're just on different levels. But also they'll look back, they were very tired, they look lethargic on the pitch. There are excuses they can use. But yeah, it's something maybe they just needed, that little kick up the backside a little bit to come into this game with all guns blazing.
Yeah, Rolfo said afterwards, she said, I think we learned a lesson. We're not happy. We weren't happy with the performance. We've been talking through the game, which, to Emma's point, says they've been thinking about it. And he says we know what we weren't happy with and what we can do differently, which is a scary concept, because when a team this good is able to find their mistakes and correct them, they become that much more dangerous.
Is that credit to Wolfsburg as well, though? I mean, before Barça rose to fame and also glory, of course, it was really the matchup was between Lyon and Wolfsburg as to who was the two best football teams in women's football, and maybe was the 5-1 in the first leg a little bit of a surprise, or
absolutely, it was a bit of a disgrace, to be honest. And you know, I was expecting so much more from Wolfsburg. Again, a German team, really good players, really dangerous players, strong players. I don't think I've ever seen a German side play so bad.
Wow.
And okay, the second leg, I don't think any of the players believed they were going to overturn it, but they needed to, you know, pick themselves up. They needed to get a little bit of respect back, because they're not that bad of a team, and they showed it, and it's the only thing they could do, so they could walk away at least holding their heads high, because that first game was a bit of a shocker from all of them.
Well, we're seeing live images now over in Turin, Italy, of the opening ceremony ahead of this UEFA Women's Champions League final. Opening ceremony, of course, also always a beautiful thing to watch. The fireworks, the flags are out, the fans are packed the stadium as both teams are watching along. And they'll be eager for kickoff to commence and for the ball to start rolling. You see Jamie? is the red face in the crowd?
Is it? Oh, there's Jamie. Oh, no, sorry.
Well, at this point in time, maybe it's a good moment to ask both of you to share with me your predictions for this match in today's Guess the Score. Spence, I'm going to start with you, my friend.
I think the score of the season for the football club Barcelona is 4-0.
Oh.
And that's
wow.
what I'm going to go with.
Wow.
I'm going to go with 4-0. I think they're that motivated.
I'm not going to go with such a big score line. I'm going to say 3-2 to Barça.
3-2. Ooh, a nail biter. Is it like a boxing match, two boxers throwing punches? Is it
no,
going to be?
I think Barça will lead comfortably, but then Lyon will come back into it.
Oh my goodness!
And
so
then
we're in for
a bit nerve-wracking at the end.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm going to meet both of you in the middle. I'm going to go for a 3-1 score. 3-1. It was also, we heard in the Vox Pops earlier on, the Barça fans, I think the most called out scoreline prediction was the 3-1.
Yeah, I heard 3-1, I think,
Quite
three times.
3 times?
Yeah.
No, yeah. Well, of course, also you watching us can partake in this Guess the Scores, part of the Matchday Challenge. All you have to do is download the Barça app or go over to the website to partake in it and partake in Guess the Score. There's also the halftime quiz. You can win tons of prizes at the end of the match, a jersey and also a trip right here to the city of Barcelona to watch next season's Clásico. So go ahead, download the Barça app or head on over to the website to put in your prediction for today's match. I'm going to guess that probably the 3-1 will be the most guessed or predicted scoreline. I'm going to go cheat a little bit and see
Quality
if I can actually see
choreography,
that.
by the way. It's I like the spinning crests.
Have the opening ceremonies improved over the years, Emma?
Yes,
Yeah?
absolutely.
What was it like in your day? I'm not going to say the year. It made me feel bad.
Well, I think in my day,
You already did.
Is that worse saying in your day?
I'm trying to remember. I think we just had the blue flag. That was it. No fire or anything like that. I mean, that's incredible. But yeah, it was quite a low key. Well, we had a 2-legged final.
Okay. Oh.
Which was really difficult because we were playing against a team that should have won.
Uh-huh.
And we scored a fluky goal away. And then we had to, try to hold that lead at home, which was like for us really, really difficult. So we literally just defended. We parked the bus and I was the busiest person on the pitch.
Oh, wow.
But we did it. It was the Irish look as well.
Look at the Irish.
Yes.
Well, there it is. Seems to slowly but surely have come to an end. We are 5 minutes away from kickoff. And as you can see, the fans, as we have already mentioned, have come out in numbers supporting their team, or their teams, I should say. Plenty of Barça shirts sitting in the stands, as well as the odd Lyon fan who has traveled over from France to Turin.
Yeah, they've already been
But
to
Jamie
this
mentioned,
stadium
I mean, it was
too.
like massively outnumbering the Lyon fans.
Yeah.
The Barça fans, that is, yeah.
Yeah, and so that might not feel all that different for Lyon because they did play here. Now, they lost here, but they have played here this year in this competition. So, or I should say in this city is what I mean. But with Barça and the number of fans that they have, they're used to that, I think. And Lyon, they might be used to it in a way because they've been through this before. Many of them have played these kinds of games before. But you also have to remember, for Barca's perspective, the last 2 Champions League finals have been played behind closed doors. So they're just happy to be on this stage with a full stadium ready to watch this game.
Well, Spence, we're now 4 minutes away from kickoff, which means it's that point in time where I bid both of you farewell. We wish you the best of luck, and I'll see you on the other side, hopefully with Barça, of course, carrying that trophy, hoisting it high in the air. Why don't we go over these starting 11s one more time before the ball starts rolling? Spence.
All right, let's do it. Barça throwing out an 11 that looks a little something like this. Sandra Paños is in goal, left to right at the back. Fridolina Rolfo, Mapi León, Irene Paredes, Marta Torrejon, with Alexia Patri and Aitana in the midfield. And then Mariana Caldente, Jenny Hermoso, and the always elusive Caroline Graham Hansen up top for a Barça team that also has several options on the bench. For Lyon, it's Christiane Endler in goal, with Selma Basha, Gria Chimbak Bathi, Wendy Renard, and Ellie Carpenter at the back. Katarina Macario, Amandine Henry, and Lindsay Horan in the midfield, with Melvine Mallard, Ada Hegerberg, and Delfine Cascarino are the options up front. The folks at Plaza Catalunya. We welcome you to the Champions League final now. It is time, Barça and Lyon, and we bring it to you on Barça TV Plus, and that is what we are excited for today. It's the Juventus Stadium. It's the 7-time champions Lyon taking on the defending champions Barça. And the two sides are just about ready now to take to the pitch. Spencer Siegel here with you. I've got Emma Byrne alongside as well. And Emma, for a game of this magnitude, it had to be Barça and Lyon. We've talked about it plenty today. How do you summarize the build-up to a game like this?
Well, it's definitely been a long wait for Barça ever since 2019. I know that these players have wanted to play against Lyon again. I know they played them in a friendly, but doesn't really count. Winning the Champions League last year was obviously a massive thing, but it wasn't against Lyon. They wanted Lyon, they didn't get them. They get them this year, so they are going to want to beat them for sure.
We'll be joined by Jamie Coles a little bit later, but for now, it's just about time for football, Emma. So we've mentioned Barça and what they're capable of. When we look at a Lyon side that maybe among the teams in Europe has the best chance to beat Barça, who have been nearly unbeatable today, how do they go ahead and do that?
Well, just looking at 2019 and how Lyon beat Barça for me was down in the wide areas. They've got very, very good wide players, very quick. They like to get wide. They like to cross the ball into the box for the Hegerberg. And that's what I think they're going to do today. And if I'm being honest, Barca's weakness, if they have a weakness, which they don't really, but the most weak part of the team would probably be down the full-back areas, because they like to push on. Torrejon and Rolfo like to push on. So for me, I think Lyon are going to target those areas and try and get numbers in the box, with Hegerberg and Macario picking up the pieces.
Macario is the goal-scoring savant for this team. We have Plaza Catalunya in full force. They were capping the population today at 20,000. No real word on how close we've gotten to that. And so throughout this game, both in Plaza Catalunya and in Mollet de Vallès, which is where the Ballon d'Or winner Alexia Putellas is from, they have a big screen out there as well. This is the moment we've been waiting for. For Barça, Paños in goal, Rolfo, Mapi, Irene, Marta, with Alexia, Patri, and Aitana in the midfield. Mariona Caldente, Jenny Hermoso, and Caroline Graham Hansen as the players. Take a knee prior to kickoff. The referee has blown her whistle, and for the next 90 minutes, one of these two teams will be etched in glory. We're happy to have you for it. It's Lyon heading right to left on our screens, wearing their white kits, and Barça are wearing their Champions League kits this year. They're heading left to right, and they have now taken down possession amidst a high Lyon press.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it, how Lyon have started a really high press. That's their game from the start. They know that Barca likes possession, so straight in, they want to press high, try and win that ball further up the pitch.
And an early foul has been given to Lyon. Aitana swung her foot with Haran right in the middle, and Haran definitely got to it first.
Yeah,
and that
she
wasn't
caught
the
her.
First minute.
That was a really tough tackle. She really caught Lindsay Haran there.
Getting a look at Sonia Bonpastor, the manager of this Lyon squad, her first season in such a role, who had been with the youth club prior. She took over in April of last year. It'll be a free kick for Lyon, about 30-35 yards out.
No, we spoke about set pieces, didn't we, before the game, and it's something that Lyon will be definitely looking to expose Barca on. They're very good in the air. Barca are holding a really high line, which can be worrying.
It is a shot on goal, and Paños lets it sail away. Like it was Macario in there, but I think it was taken by Basha.
Yes, Basha with her left foot. I mean, it wasn't a million miles away, but Paños didn't seem to be too worried. She had it covered. It's a fair distance to shoot from.
Well, another high-pressure turnover has brought it back to Lyon, and they've brought it into the box, trying to get a cross in. It's headed into the air, and it falls safely into the hands of Paños.
Yeah, you know, Barca really need to be careful. That was Cascarino running up the right-hand side. We spoke about the wide areas. They're very, very good. Cascarino is so quick. She got right to the end line and got a really decent ball in. It's a little bit too high, too far for any of the Lyon players to get a hold of it. But at the moment, Lyon are looking like they're on top a little bit.
Jenny has kept it in play. Barca get their first touch of the game in their attacking half, but they turn it over right away. Now Basha sends it up this near side, but it's turned over to Aitana, who wants to slow it down for a moment. She recycles it back to Mapi Leon, who from the center circle restarts play.
Oh, both teams are playing really similar. Both teams high pressing, lots of pressure on the ball, which is great for spectators, great for us because it means a high turnover.
Alexia was surrounded by 3 white jerseys. She's turned it over. Basha trying to clear her lines. And again with that big left boot, not only gets it out of harm's way, but did fairly well.
Paredes does brilliantly there, because Ada Hegerberg is very, very good at holding the ball up, and it looked like she'd done that, but Paredes just got her foot round her and won it back.
Four minutes in, and the pressure at the back has been very difficult so far for Barça to break through. They can't seem to build their way up yet. It's turned over again. Lyon have it again. Into the box, this time Rolfo defends, and she gets it clear.
She does really, really well, Rolfo back there. You know, Rolfo likes to get forward. I would question her defensive ability, and she's going to be tested here today with Cascarino on that right-hand side.
Hold on a second, because Barça, they just had a break for a moment, and Aitana was stopped in her tracks.
Yeah, really good tackle from Mbok.
No?
Mbok just got in there.
Now Lyon coming the other way. This game is wide open, and this time Irene forced to defend again, but it's taken back by Hegerberg. Now Basha to Hegerberg, near side, looking to get a cross in. Alexia comes in on a challenge, but it's taken off of her feet. It's still with, oh wow, what a goal for Lyon.
Whoa.
An unbelievable strike from distance. It's scored by Henry, and Lyon lead it 1-0 5 minutes in.
What a strike. What a strike.
A strike worthy of a Champions League goal.
25 yards out, 30 yards out, absolute rocket. It's being checked. The referee is checking it.
Alexia went in, and it looked like she got to the ball first. She was asking for the foul, and it was just taken down by Henry. She had one touch with it.
Yeah, they're checking that tackle.
No.
Oh.
It looked like it touched her hand.
But what a strike, I mean, whoa. There is absolutely nothing Paños could have done about that.
They're replaying the goal, but if you do go back to the actual slide tackle, the ball did ricochet a little bit.
It touched off her hand.
But they've already restarted play. It's been given. It's 1-0, and Barça, once again, will have to work from behind.
Well, this is going to be interesting because Barça aren't in this position very often, and it really tests their character. You can see already that they're trying to hurry the game up. They're trying to get on the ball. They're trying to get back in the game. The last 6 minutes has been absolutely hectic, hasn't it?
It's a tremendous goal by Amadine Henry.
She's known for it. She can strike him from that distance. I mean, it was very far out. She scored a similar goal in the World Cup a good few years ago now, but great strike from her.
But he has played more Champions League minutes than she has for Lyon this season. Now Barça will come forward with Jenny Hermoso to find Rolfo up the far side, trying to turn the corner. She's shed one defender. She has options on the cutback. And then it's sent out for a corner by Renard.
She thought she heard a whistle. She actually got round Carpenter. You can see here, fair and square. And she thought she heard a whistle and she stopped. You can just see her here stopping and to look at the referee.
Carpenter has stayed down. It's the third goal for Henry in this Champions League campaign. And boy, it really
just seen the goal again.
It really is a strike for the ages, you have to say.
It's a fantastic strike, but knowing Sandra Paños, she will be upset about that because it was from distance, but it was a fantastic shot. There wasn't much she could do about it.
I'm surprised that the goal wasn't looked at, if backing it up a little bit further, because it did look like if the ball does touch some part of her hand at that point, then you can't give the goal.
True. It looked like the referee was looking at it.
And there you see, it was Rolfo who just stopped. And Carpenter has now come off the pitch. Barca are still waiting to take their corner.
They're piling bodies in there, and the goalkeeper and Endler, they know she's good in the air. The only way to stop her is to get traffic in front of her.
All right, here it comes. Speared in towards the back post, headed on by Marta and over the bar.
Nicely worked corner. Done that on the training ground a couple of times. They've piled everyone in on the front post and left Marta to the back post, and actually she's free. She got a free header. Should have kept that down, or at least made Endler work in goal. And Barça not allowing Lyon to play out. High pressure, which means Endler has to go long.
Going long, and she's given it away, and Barca have taken it back. And a nice slip-through ball that has found a runner. Here comes Jenny Hermoso, whose shot is denied. On target.
I was really expecting that to hit the back of the net. It was a good save by Endler. She just stood up, she stayed big. You're expecting Jenny to score those ones. It looked like she just toe poked it, you know, just trying to get anything on it, but actually she had time to place it.
Well, this is not something new recently. Barca have conceded first in a number of games over the last couple of months, against Madrid, against Wolfsburg. Setting up now. Graham Hansen trying to cut back onto her left, got crossed up with Hermoso, and Lyon take it away. For the first time, let's check in with Jamie Coles.
Hello guys, how are we doing? Live here from Turin. It's very loud and we had a couple of sound problems to start with, but I'm here, I promise you I'm here behind Sandra Paño's goal right now. And well, what a shock start to that match. The fans here went absolutely wild about that goal. There's so much blue and red, there's so much Blaugrana here.
Well, hold on, Jamie,
and you can hear them right behind me.
Oh, wow, that was nearly a trip in the box. Continue on, Jamie, as Lyon go the other way.
Well, ever since that goal, Barcelona have brought the fight, right? It's very physical, very heated up here in Turin, and I can see a player down just by where the ball's gone out of play on the wing there.
Oh, and that is Carpenter,
yeah,
who went down without anybody near her.
No, she was the one who fell injured with Rolfo. Definitely looks like a knee injury. We can see Buchanan getting warmed up on the bench. She's going to come on. That looks serious for Carpenter.
And she tried to continue, and in a Champions League final, that's what you're always looking to do, is to fight through all of the pain, but sometimes it's too much, and you can see all of her teammates right now surrounding her, providing her the support that it looks like she needs. It's her left knee that they're checking on right now.
Well, it'll be interesting to see where Buchanan will come on. She's a centre back by trade. She could fit in right back, but she definitely won't be up and down that line like Carpenter was. She'll definitely stay in that position. So that will allow, hopefully, Rolfo to get forward and attack that space.
All right, well, while they're attending to her, we want to continue to check in with Jamie throughout this game. Jamie, you've been in Turin now for the better part of 3 days at this point. Tell me about the logistical experience that you've had with this team as you've gone through this preparation.
Sure, so we departed Barcelona at around 11:30 on Friday morning. Arrived in Turin at 12:30, where the players went to their hotel, which is about a 20-minute ride from here. And they stayed for a good part of the afternoon on Friday before heading to the stadium here for the press conference, training, and then they were back to the hotel. Then today there was sort of a what they call an activation session, which are like teamwork games, exercises, and a bit of kind of relax for the morning, as well as interacting with some fans. I'm sure you saw the great footage earlier from that. And then they were back to the stadium at around 5 p.m. this afternoon to get prepared for the match.
Well, you can prepare as much as you want, and then, Emma, something like a wonder strike from Henry happens, and a lot of your preparation, though it might not change, it certainly takes on extended significance.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to expect that in the first 4 minutes, and you definitely don't expect a wonder goal like that because you work so hard to stop them playing.
Rolfo has gotten inside. She sends it across for Jenny, who tries to flick it along. She was falling as she tried to send it towards goal, and it looks like it just took a deflection. I think actually Basha got there first. Just in front of
just about. You can see what Jenny's trying to do. She knows Basha is very close to her, so she's just trying to use her body to get in front of Basha, and those situations can lead to a penalty. So Lyon are not being very careful in the box at the moment, because that's 2 occasions now that we've questioned the tackle.
It's 2 quality crosses from Barça, and they've both come from the left-hand side. Now they're trying the right with Graham Hansen. Is being watched by 2 Lyon defenders. Now Irene further away from goal, sent through the lines. Graham Hansen meandering into the box on her left foot, sends it to Mariona, who keeps it moving, looking for Rolfo, and it's cut off. And Hegerberg just gets it out of trouble. Rolfo has to track all the way back as she's being hounded at the moment by Cascarino.
That's 3 times now Hegerberg's given away the ball, which is really unlike her. I just wonder if the fact she's just coming back from injury, maybe she's a little bit rusty, because when she is on the ball, she keeps it. And 3 times she's given away the ball. Even for Henry's goal, she gave her a bad ball. It should have been Alexia's ball, really.
Lyon now just trying to break down Barca's pressure. Patry wins it back, as she does so well so often, and it's Alexia Putellas who was being grabbed, but she still motors forward, needs to look to get a cross in towards the byline. She's brought down in the box. There's a lot of contact, but not enough inside the box to warrant a penalty.
But again, it did look like she was pulled down. And again, it's Basha, the left back, being a little bit erratic in the box. I know me as a manager, as a goalkeeper, I'd be a little bit telling her to calm down a little bit.
Alexia's been fouled, and Barça will have a free kick. Again, they've got their arms all over her shoulder. This time it's Renard. Barça restart quickly. You can sense that they're getting closer, and we're not even halfway through this first half. Jamie, as you were watching in yesterday on the training session, the hour-long training session, it just looked like Barça were locked in for that full hour. And although Lyon have taken the early lead with their goal, I don't think Barça have lost any of their concentration.
No, I'd agree absolutely, Spencer. You're right. That full hour of training, they were completely plugged in, completely in the zone. And we saw it again during the warm-up now. They were shooting a goal with real power. Rolfo put in some real strong crosses from the left wing with absolute determination. And these players are fired up. They're focused and ready for this. Like you say, that early goal was perhaps a bit of a shock from the free kick, but Yeah, the Barça are fully here and bringing the fight to Lyon.
And the goal coming from Amadine Henry, and work to do now for Barça. Of course, it is a final. This game can end any number of ways, but certainly doesn't have to go only 90 minutes, depending on where we go from here. A couple of misfortuned bounces nearly go the way of Lyon, and it still has fallen with them. And now Hegerberg tries a shot from distance. She couldn't really wrap it around her foot the way she wanted to.
Both teams seem to be a little bit on edge. They haven't settled the game down a bit. Neither team have been comfortable on the ball, like keeping control. It's 20 minutes in now. This usually happens in the first 5 minutes.
Well, and what does that goal do to both teams' game plans? Because a lot of times you see an early goal and you'll say the game plan doesn't change from here on out.
No, it certainly won't have changed for either team. What will have changed, though, or perhaps just emphasised more, is the fact Carpenter's come off injured. Their right back, who is extremely quick and very good at getting up and down the line. Buchanan is a very good defender, but she won't get high. She'll stay in that back four, which means Rolfo can get a little bit higher, even though Cascarino is drifting towards that area. I think the advantages is definitely in Barca's favour, because Rolfo does want to get higher, and you could see in the first 15 minutes how dangerous she was.
And Almoso's claiming that she's been kicked, fouled, and it certainly looked like she was held up, impeded. Going to be chased down in the corner, and Lyon now have it, but with very few options in the box. And Patry mishandles the clearance, but it comes out to Aitana, who's got a lot of space to roam in front of her. This game very stretched early. Aitana linking up in the midfield with Mariona, trying to squeeze through the lines. Hermoso is shunned off by Renard. Here's Horan out wide. That's a good ball too. Finding Mallard, who wants to cut into her right foot, now chops it back to the left, and a sliding tackle coming in from behind. Is it Graham Hansen getting back defending? It is.
Yeah, it's great defending by Graham Hansen. She does really, really well. And she followed Basha all the way from that left back position. She did really well to help Marta Torrejon out there.
Throw taken by Lyon, and now it's come back out to the top of the box and reset. Henry, the goal scorer. Nice spell of possession for Lyon, their first really long stint since scoring the goal. Basha gets the return pass from Mallard, sent in towards the back post, and it's headed down and in for Lyon to take a 2-goal lead.
They'll be disappointed with that. Caroline Graham Hansen, who did a really good job, and 2 minutes ago just let that cross come in from Basha. You can't do it, not with Lyon. I'm sure that was one of the things that Jonathan Giraldes asked his team to do, is don't let the crosses come in. And if they are coming in, somebody has to pick up Ada Hegerberg. They have to pick her up, and you can see her movement here. They have her, Paredes and Mapi Lyon, both of them have her comfortably, and as that ball's coming in, Mapi just gets drawn into the front post, not realizing that Hegerberg has drifted off to the back post, which is what she does really well, which she did 3 times against them in 2019, and it's just an easy headed goal for her.
She scores her 6th in the Champions League this year, Ada Hegerberg. And it has made this a very difficult task for Barça because we've seen them conceding the first goal often. We have not seen them concede the first 2 with the exception of the Wolfsburg game. Now Barça need a response.
Yeah, the good thing is it's 23, 24 minutes in. They have time to do it. But what they need to do is they need to get possession and they need to be calm with it. They're 100 miles an hour at the minute. And they just need to keep the ball, settle it down and get back into their rhythm of play.
And Hansen has it with space. She'll look to get her cross in. It's taken a deflection off of Basha and out for a Barça corner. Jamie.
Well, there's a minority, but they're very loud French fans right now. Well, you can hear behind me the Barça fans firing up. This is an opportunity now for Barça. And the fans are definitely behind them here in Turin. We're seeing a very...
Ooh. Sent in, back post. It's trickled along, but it's only going to be a goal kick. It was Irene who got a touch to it.
What a great ball. What a corner. So difficult for Endler. She thinks she can get a touch in it. Maybe she did get a slight touch. And you can see Paredes coming around the back post.
And our Barça Live, oh, that's a very weak back pass, and Paños has to come out as Paredes is saved by her keeper.
I want to clap there for Paños. What a fantastic tackle from Paños. I could see it happening when Paredes turned there. She's not going to put enough weight in it. Short pass. Ada Hegerberg is in there. She's favourite to the ball, and Paños comes out with a sliding tackle.
Marta, early ball in for Jenny, who tries to knot it down. Claims of a handball, but Horan takes it away. Cascarino up the right-hand side against Rolfo. She does get her cross in. Paños collides with Irene, and at the back, Barça are being forced to defend multiple times in this half, and they just don't seem comfortable.
No, they're a little bit shook, and I think that's a good example. That's Paños' ball. Paredes went for it. She shouldn't have. Paños called it. But just these little things creeping into the game just reminds me of 2019, and I don't like it. I don't like what I'm seeing.
A goal back at this point would mean a whole heck of a lot. Mapi wins it back. Through the lines it goes. Here comes the run from Alexia, or I beg your pardon, Mariona, who's dispossessed. But Mapi fighting for it. And we're seeing on our Barça live screen shots of Plaza Catalunya as well. And the fans who have come to watch this game look just as
it's gone very quiet.
Yeah.
Very quiet.
Still a lot of time.
Yeah, but they need to stop doing things out of the ordinary. We've seen 3 balls, high balls, go in there, and it's not their style of play. And what they were doing before this was working when they were trying to get Rolfo higher, which they haven't done since the right back's gone off. And they need to get her on the ball, get her higher, and play through their midfield, and they haven't been doing that.
Physical concern for a team who are defending their Champions League crown against the team that's won it more than anybody else. Mid-pressure from Barça, which has been brought forward by Lyon, and they worked it well, but it's gone over the touchline, and Barça will have a throw on the far side with Rolfo. And I believe with the heat that Jamie had talked about earlier, a hydration break is in order, so we'll check in with Jamie now. Hope you have some water at your side as well.
I do indeed, but yeah, it's very, very warm here in Turin. Thankfully, the sun kind of is setting now behind the stadium, and so we've got shade on the pitch. The floodlights are fired up. I've been privileged. I'm sat behind Sandro Bagno's goal, as I mentioned before. I've been privileged to, well, unfortunately, I've seen 2 goals scored here, but I've also been privileged to see some fantastic saves by Bagnos, and she called the offside as well just now before it was called by the assistant referee. She's very in the zone, very focused here, and she's been key to the distribution of the ball from the back for Barça. Lyon are a very physical team, and they're forcing Barça to play very physical football that we've not really seen. Emma and I have spoken about this many times. Barça don't play the most physical of football, and they're being pushed around a little bit today, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I remember having a conversation, and Jamie asked me, how do you beat Barça? And I said, physically, you beat them, and you might have to be a little bit nasty, which is what's happening today. Lyon are known for being physical, a little bit more today than I've seen previously, but it's a Champions League final. You do whatever you can to win. Barça would be expecting this as well, and you know, they'll be prepared for that physical battle, which they've worked on so hard. So it's just a bit of a shock, I think, for them to go into a game like this. They're 2-0 down. It's just about getting back on top, but getting back to their own game, their own method. And I think the shock has kind of knocked them off course a little bit. So they just need to get on the ball, don't panic, keep possession, move the ball quickly, switch the ball, and not give it away like we've just seen.
Well, restarting after the cooling break, which means, especially with the injury we saw earlier to Carpenter, it's probably going to be a few minutes of added time at the end of this first half, we would expect. Goals coming early and often for Lyon. Barça trying to find a way through. They build up from the back. Aitana turns. Rolfo, far side against Buchanan. Back to Mapi. There's a lot of pressure, and it's turned over again, and Irene is the last defender back. She needs to make a play here against Hegerberg. She backs off and allows her to strike. Lyon are asking for a corner, and I don't believe they'll get it.
Mistake here from Patrick Guijarro in the middle. Can't afford to make those mistakes against Lyon. Mapi plays a short ball into Patrick, who then tries to turn inside when she had a player in there who just took the ball off her, thank you very much, and then gave it to Ada Hegerberg, who, luckily for Barça, ballooned it over the bar.
It's another warning sign, and Macario was the one who went down that time. I believe we've seen the referee take a card out for the first time. Couldn't have been anything from the field of play. It had to have been something that one of the players said.
Perhaps Jamie knows if he can see the full picture.
Yeah, no, I was as surprised as you were to see the referee kind of taking a name.
They've given it to Mapi. And now Lyon are in once again. And it's trouble for Barça. They have to defend. They don't clear their lines. It's thrown on towards the back post, and Lyon have knocked it in again. They have 3. Macario this time. It is falling apart for Barça. They could not clear the ball, and they've now got a 3-goal deficit and less than an hour to overcome it.
But mistakes, two goals for sure, 2 mistakes. This in particular, they need to clear their lines here. It's really messy. Actually, I think it's Paredes who gives the ball back to Ada Hegerberg, who then just slots it across. An easy goal, an easy tap in for Macario. Is it Macario that scored?
Yeah, sure looked like it. Yep. It is, and it's 3-0. That's just too easy. Hegerberg on the assist. Barca have not seen anything like this season. Macario is the leading goal scorer for Lyon in both the Champions League and the domestic competition. Her first professional season, coming over from Stanford University, where she made 3 college cups in 4 years there, which is essentially like a Final Four. Won 2 national titles in the process. Barca are now back in their defensive block, and Lyon will send in another cross. And it's flicked on for Paños to watch trickle over the line, but the flag has gone up.
Well, you're just hoping that it's not a repeat of 2019, where Barca went in at halftime 4-0 down. You just hope that they have the character now to try and come back for that. If they can score a goal before half-time, it changes the picture completely. But you're looking at balls, you're looking at long balls. That's something that we don't normally see from Barca. They still need to play their football and open up Lyon, open up those gaps and move the ball quicker.
Well, that's solid defense once again, with the forwards helping out the midfield, and Lyon have come away with a turnover, and they're on the break, 3-on-3. Right now it's Macario. She sends it across to Hegerberg. This could be 4, and Paños parries it away. A shot that was headed for the back of the net. Wasn't quite all the way along towards that back post, but still dangerous nonetheless.
It was, because there was a defender between Paños and Ada Hegerberg there. It was Marta Torrejon, so it would have been a little bit difficult to see, but a good save by Paños to actually parry it into a safe area as well.
Here come Barça now, the other way. Hermoso sends it to the near side. Graham Hansen into the box, cuts it back, looking for a pass. Ball just dangling at her feet. Finally waiting for someone to stab at her. And it's won back by Lyon. It's Basha on the defense.
But you can see that Graham Hansen has the beating of Basha. She has the beating of her. Basha actually did a 360 turn there, and for a defender to do that is just unheard of. But she stopped. Graham Hansen stopped where she should have kept going. She should have went at her. She should have used her pace to get past her.
Lika Pina and Osoala warming up. We've got all 3 players on the touchline here warming up. There's going to be some changes made in the final minutes of this half, I think.
Well, here's a chance for Barca once again to get one back. Graham Hansen has it near the corner flag. Lost out again against Basha, who just beat her and now tries to dribble around her, but it trickles over the line. And that's a surprise to see first half substitutions, but maybe not with the scoreline, Emma.
I don't think it's a bad idea. Unfortunately, a couple of players are just getting beaten. They're not moving the ball quick enough. They're getting the ball taken off them. And I'm not sure how that's going to change for them. So Geraldes is probably like, why not make them now? Which gives the other players coming on a little bit more time to get into the game.
Macario sends a beautiful cross to the far side, and then it's chipped in by Buchanan, but Paños is wise to it. See not only who comes into the game. Jamie, you said that it was Oshoala, Lika, and who was the third warming up?
Sorry, I've not got a good view from here right now.
If you hear it, or if you see it, just check back in.
I think it's Bruna. No, hang on, it can't be.
Pina, probably.
I can let you know.
The attacking player,
yeah, I think
Pina.
It's Claudia Pina.
Here's Graham Hansen. She's taken out by Basha, and
it's a foul.
No foul has been given.
How is it not a foul?
This is the physicality you're talking about.
Basha had a few of those.
Run back by Barça
They've
again.
appealed for the foul and it's not been given.
Patri over the top, looking for Graham Hansen. She's got it in a similar position again. This time drops it back to Marta. Gets it back from her. Graham Hansen readies the cross, sends it in. It's a good ball. And it's bounced away by a couple of players, including the keeper Endler, who then just decides to punch it to safety.
Oh, she did well, Endler. You might not have seen it, but she just stood up big, and Jenny just got a little touch in it. And Endler stayed big and just got a hand to it.
One back by Lyon. Barça still trying to keep it in their attacking third with that high pressure. Sent out across to the other side, and Barça recycle with Mapi. Well, we've got about 5 minutes or so before the halftime whistle, which, if there are going to be changes, it would have to come quickly.
I'd be surprised if he changed something now with only 5 minutes in it. I would just try and get a message onto the pitch. Look, just relax, keep the ball, keep playing. There are spaces in the midfield.
Rolfo is dispossessed. Iona tracking back defensively, and she wins it back for Barça. Alexia, have not called her name much tonight. She is on the ball now with two defenders bearing her down. She finds Rolfo. Rolfo with space, cutting it into the mid. Her shot takes a deflection out to Graham Hansen, who's looking for a cross. There's a slip. There's the shot coming in out of nowhere. Barça have one back, and I believe it's Alexia. Of course it is. 3-1. Everybody calm down.
I'm just looking at the picture in Plaza Catalunya. They're all pointing at, give it to her.
Are they on a they're on a delay. There we go. Vamos.
As when Rolfo shot, they were like, why? Give it to Caroline Graham Hansen, and it got to her in the end. Really nice ball, lovely taken goal from Alexia on her right foot. They're back in the game. It's exactly what they needed.
Well, you said it, Emma. They needed one before half. They've gotten one. And now they're coming forward again, although it's cut out by Basha. This has been a strange first half.
It's just been madness. It just started at 100 miles an hour and it didn't slow down until the 25th, 26th minute, which is unheard of. And it just took Barça by surprise. They didn't get into their rhythm.
We'll see if the flag comes up on Mariona. The ball has trickled out of play, and now indeed it has come up. There was a little flick pass into her path, but it looked like she was still trying to get back on.
Yeah, she's offside. She's just offside. But better from Barça. They're playing the ball. They're finding the spaces. Gaps are opening up. There's always gaps, massive gaps between the Lyon back four and the midfield three. And we've seen a couple of times at the start where Barça were exploiting that, but they haven't done it since.
Poor clearance from Irene, forcing Marta back, that will allow a corner from Lyon, but the Barça fans are reinvigorated at the Juventus Stadium. I think they needed something.
The stadium has absolutely erupted.
Jamie?
They are so fired up here now.
And Lyon taking their time, of course. They just want to see out this half.
We're still going to have probably 3 minutes or so, at least, I would think, at the end of this half, with the injury and the water break. Macario will send it in. Right-footed in-swinger towards the back post, headed clear. Graham Hansen comes away with it. She needs an option. She finds Mariona, who's on the wrong side of the pitch right now, at least for today. Now Barça will try to break. Sent wide to Rolfo. 90 seconds of the first 45 remain, plus stoppage time. Feel like they're starting to get back into their groove. Mariona on the near side now. I believe she's switched with...
It's a great ball.
With Rolfo, who's now playing further up the pitch. And Rolfo has taken it down nicely, looking to get across, and she stays with it, trying to cut it back. Better defense, though. Again, it's Renard.
Great ball from Patri Guijarro there. Switch it out to Rolfo, who had lots of space.
You said we hadn't called Alexia's name all too often, and then less than 60 seconds later, of course, she
Say
scored.
it again. It might happen again.
Graham Hansen was looking to find Alexia inside. Taken away by Lyon. Blocked back out comfortably by Cascarino, who is on the other side as well. Barça now being forced to defend. Renard. Long ball out wide. It's Mbok Bathy out there, I believe.
Yeah, they've switched. Mbok Bathy's gone to right back, and Buchanan's come into centre.
We will have...
We're going to get 4 minutes added time here.
Yeah. Four minutes. I think at this point you put the emphasis on not conceding a fourth rather than trying to score a second, right?
Oof, I don't know.
I mean, you'd love to score the second, but keep it clean. And right now...
That's a foul on Marta Torrecon as well.
Macario is looking to shoot. She chips it in towards the back post. Paños comes to a dive on the shot, and it's wide of the goal.
I mean, it's a very obvious foul on Marta Torrecon. She went up for the head and she was pushed in the back, which completely thrown her off.
One of the 4 minutes has elapsed. Alexia spears it wide to Graham Hansen. There's an overload on this near side. Marta on the overlapping run. Graham Hansen will find her. Marta getting in her cross. Popped up into the air by Buchanan. Duran nearly had it taken away. And Lyon says anywhere will do right now. They're the ones with their heels on the ground.
Well, they've just dropped off a little bit, Lyon. Can see there's a little bit of space for Barça.
Patri was fouled, and the referee, I think, was waiting to play advantage, but he's brought it back.
Yeah, Ada Hegerberg has been on a mission. She's just received a yellow card. It was a bit of a nasty tackle. She'd done 3 before that.
I mean, reckless, dangerous.
It warrants a yellow card.
Still some time for Barça to carry out Emma's wish of chasing a second. Mariona on the near side. Sends it through the lines to Graham Hansen, and Renard on the deflection sends it out of play. It's a Barça corner.
Nice play from Barça. It's one of the first times that we've seen them with an overload, with more than 2 players.
Popped up towards the back post. Out comes Endler. She's got it, and she'll head to the ground to try and see out.
Too easy for Endler. The ball was up in the air far too long, with nobody around her, nobody trying to challenge her.
Well, Jamie, before we head to halftime, I want to get your thoughts on this first half as a whole, which started all Lyon, and Barça have at least brought it back within 2.
Yeah, well, 4 goals in 45 minutes. What a treat here at the Juventus Stadium. The result, the scores on the door, is not really what we want for Barca right now. But we've seen some very physical football, some very good football, and I think the latter part of this first half has seen a much more dominant Barca.
Yeah, for sure. They've just settled into the game a little bit, as you can see now. Jenny drops right off.
Maybe one more chance for Barça, the through ball looking for Mariona, and we might see some changes too, which we'll talk about.
Yeah, I mean,
later.
if they want to play that ball, which they've just done, is over the top. Jenny drops in to play a long ball. They're going to need a very quick player up front.
Well, that does it. Halftime here at the Juventus Stadium. It is 3-1 to Lyon, a game that Barça fell behind early and have since grabbed one back, trying to make a difference with 45 minutes left to play, Emma.
Yeah, as I said, they settled in a little bit. I thought Rolfo did really well at the beginning, but then kind of disappeared towards the end. They're trying to get Graham Hansen on the ball, but Bash is doing really well, but I still think they should...
So a 3-1 game. We see Henry scoring in the 6th minute. It was Hegerberg in the 23rd, and then Macario in the 33rd. And if not for Alexia Putellas, it might be a little bit more of a depressing outlook on that halftime speech. But you'd have to think that Giraldez, though he won't be happy, still has plenty to work with and lots of opportunities on the bench. So it's halftime here, and that means that we will step aside for just a moment and bring it back. We've got 45 minutes still to play at the Juventus Stadium. It's Lyon 3, Barça 1.
Hello, Coolers. This is Camp Nou Kitchen, the place where two Barça players will swap their jersey for an apron to play a different match. Empezamos en 3, 2, 1.
¿Y si me quemo, qué pasa?
Pre-kickoff. Today on Camp Nou Kitchen, two talented players from the Dream Team.
¡Míralo, míralo!
¿Has visto? Pedri González and Eric García.
Te espero. Si hubiese tocado algo mucho más difícil, yo creo que hubiésemos quemado la cocina.
They will cook a dish selected by the best nutritionist in the club.
Vale, chavales, xiquets, casi lo tenim. Go, 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 go. Hola, gol de Eric.
Una salsa de Eric. But just one of them can take home the Camp Nou Kitchen Cup. Oye, pero yo esto es trampa.
No.
No, no és trampa, vinga, també vull aquí, ayuda també.
Sí que és veritat que ha tingut una mica d'ajuda.
3, 2, 1.
Lo estás haciendo todo mal.
¡Manos arriba!
Ya está, ya han robado. Picante.
Pica, picón.
El ganador de la Camp Nou Kitchen Cup es...
Eric.
Eric.
Pedri.
Debut en primera división versus primera titularidad con el primer equipo. Yo creo que me quedaría con la primera titularidad, porque al final el día antes yo ya sabía que iba a salir titular y al final el jugar 10-15 minutos en tu debut, pues sí que estás nervioso, sí que hay esa tensión, pero la titularidad ya es como... se vive mucho más y fue precioso. La verdad es que fue un partido increíble, fue el partido que volvió Ansu y marcó el gol y es de los partidos que mejor recuerdo, sin duda. Primer gol oficial en Pamplona, primer gol en el Camp Nou contra el Elche. No tengo ninguna duda, el primer gol en el Camp Nou contra el Elche y fue espectacular el celebrarlo ahí con nuestra afición, el resultado, ¿no? Que fue en los últimos minutos y yo creo que quizá es el momento más especial que he tenido esta temporada. Dorsal 28 versus dorsal 14. Pues aquí me quedo sin duda con el 14, primero porque al final es del primer equipo y ya es un salto muy importante para mí, y luego también porque es un número muy especial y en en este club y en el mundo del fútbol por todo lo que significa y es un dorsal que siempre me ha gustado mucho y de hecho he llevado bastante y pues me quedo con él. ¿Ir al stage de pretemporada o el primer viaje oficial con el primer equipo? ¿Cuál fue el primer? Pues ya me acuerdo. Aquí me quedaría con el stage de pretemporada. Al final vienes nuevo, no conoces a tantos del primer equipo, empiezas a conocerlos y son momentos muy bonitos y que estás con una ilusión increíble.
Perfecto, Nico. Has funcionado solo.
Hola Ansu, ¿cómo estás?
Hola, buenas tardes, ¿qué tal?
Hoy estás aquí para ver tu propia serie y tú nos tendrás que ayudar a terminarla.
Perfecto.
Hola Ansu. Buenas Ansu.
Hola Ansu.
Ansu.
Wow. Yo soy de Guinea-Bissau.
Siempre él me pregunta qué yo hacía en España.
Crecer sin tu padre, sin haberlo visto nunca, pues es muy duro.
Ansu, tú eres niño, eres cariñoso, pero cuando tiene hambre, no tiene amigo, ¿eh?
Arroz con pollo, ¿no?
¿Tú hablas criollo?
Sí, sí que lo hago. Sí.
Ansu, te'n recordes quan venia de tot el col·legi?
Hola, y a mi Ansu, a mi jugador de Midfield La Masia.
Me acuerdo que tenía que frenar porque en exceso, remates con el hombro, chilenas y tal.
Venía de juego de la calle y bueno, siempre estaba haciendo broma. ¿No es de Eric esto?
No es de Eric, son para ti.
Me acuerdo, ¿no?, de todos los piques que teníamos ya desde muy pequeños para todo.
Eric el bueno y Ansu el malo. ¿Y en tus lesiones has rezado mucho?
Siempre pido salud para mi familia y siempre lo que pido es lo último para mí.
I debutarà amb 16 anys Ansu Fati.
La verdad es que me acuerdo mucho del día que debutaste.
Fíjate, el día de debut lo hizo Arroz.
Estaba cumpliendo mi mayor sueño y sobre todo pues en el mejor club del mundo.
Atenció, Ansu, continua Ansu Fati que xuta, gol! 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 Andorrana Ansu Fati!
No calza tothom.
Barça!
Hola, me llamo Ansu. Hola, soy...
Hay uno de nuestros staff que me encanta la frase que él dice, porque yo, conmigo mismo, cuando yo estoy solo, yo la practico mucho. Ya es cómo me gusta ganar. Cómo me gusta ganar. ¿Sabes? Es mágico cuando ganas, ¿sabes? Pero no estoy hablando de un título, de una medalla. Estoy hablando de ganar, de ser un ganador, ¿sabes? Ser un ganador de la vida, de las pequeñas batallas, ¿sabes? Si tú te consigues ganar, tú eres un campeón. Porque al fin y al cabo, es siempre lo mejor de cada uno que hace un gran equipo, que hace un gran club. Lo mejor de cada uno, de las personas que limpian, de las personas que regan, de las personas que cuidan el césped, de la gente que prepara todo eso, que deja todo. Porque al fin y al cabo, ellos son la parte imprescindible de nuestro trabajo, no nosotros, ¿eh? Todos estos que hacen con que el espectáculo suceda son la parte imprescindible de nuestro trabajo. Entonces, yo creo que nosotros solo somos una parte más importante. No creo yo. Nosotros seríamos como los cuando tiran un cohete, ¿no?, que explota.
Los fuegos artificiales.
Exacto.
Los fuegos artificiales, ¿no?
Exacto. Sí, los fuegos artificiales.
Fireworks.
Nosotros somos las luces. Entonces, por eso, nosotros tenemos que ser muy agradecidos a todos ellos, a cada uno de ellos, que hacen con que el espectáculo suceda. Al final, sin un buen palco, no hay un gran show. Y ellos son mágicos, tanto cuanto nosotros.
Ara estàs al top 5 de partits jugats a la història del club i arribes als 600 partits. No sé si et dona una mica de vertigen, pensar en això.
No, és una xifra molt important, una carrera somiada, no? Si m'ho haguessin dit quan jugava a les categories inferiors i quan vaig entrar a l'escola, doncs ho hagués firmat 100%.
Et proposem un recorregut per la teva vida aquí al Barça a través de fotografies. Aquest dia el recordes?
Sí, home, i tant, el recordo molt bé. Era complir un somni. Et diria que és complir el somni.
T'imaginaves tot el que vindria després? Aquest partit al Wanda, aquesta lesió al genoll, és el moment més complicat?
Amb diferència. També en part em va fer més fort, em va fer valorar més encara el fet de continuar jugant a futbol i d'intentar-ho fer quan més anys millor i vestint la samarreta del Barça. I ara, si estic aquí i seguim estant competint, també en part és per aquesta lesió que em va fer, com et dic, valorar tot el que representa seguir estant aquí. Per mi ha sigut un somni tot aquest viatge, espero allargar-lo el màxim possible per intentar jugar al club sempre que les forces donguin.
Bé, Gerard, hi ha unes quantes persones que et volen dir alguna cosa. A veure amb qui comencem.
Gerard, has gaudit de meravellosos moments en el decurs de la teva carrera esportiva amb el Barça.
Geri, 600 partits, quin orgull, quin patiment cada partit d'aquests. Però no et pots imaginar el que hem arribat a disfrutar tots d'aquests moments. Només m'ha faltat una cosa, que el meu pare hagués pogut disfrutar d'un d'aquests partits. I hagués pagat qualsevol cosa per això. Però això, estem encantats i felicitats, per tal com ets.
Hola, Geri. Enhorabona pels 600 partits.
Estimat Gerard, qui ho havia de dir que arribaries a 600 partits jugant amb aquesta camiseta que nosaltres portem al cor?
Moltes felicitats, Gerard. T'estimo.
Hola, papa. Com estàs? T'estimo molt i molt bona sort en el partit d'avui. Papa, moltes felicitats per el partit de 600. T'estimo molt.
Y disfruta mucho sobre todo porque te lo ha ganado a pulso y te lo mereces.
They're friends on the pitch and off the pitch, but today they're rivals. Today on Camp Nou Kitchen, Fridolina Rolfo. Hola.
¿Qué tal?
And Ingrid Engel.
You know how to get your groove on?
Okay, am I gonna make this?
In 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Cook-off. They will face each other in a culinary challenge overseen by the best nutritionist in the club.
Well, just as it happens, I've got some snails right here. Shall we give them a try?
I really like trying new things. Where's the music?
We need music, right?
This is the rhythm of the night.
The night. Oh yeah. But what we do know is there's just one Barça footballer can take away the first trophy of the season. It's not the league nor the Champions League, it's the Camp Nou Kitchen Cup.
So you should do there. Go for it. Be brave.
10. No, 9. 8.
Shimmy, shimmy, shimmy.
I feel like you're tricking us.
No. Come on. 3, 2, 1. It's a goal, goal, goal. Bill, goal. Bill, goal, goal, Bill. Hands up.
It is time for the second half of the Champions League final from Turin at the Juventus Stadium, Barça and Lyon. And as the two sides get ready to walk back onto the pitch, we will check in shortly with Jamie Coles. I'm Spencer Siegel. She's Emma Byrne. And before we go to Jamie, Emma, this second half is going to bring with it some changes. We'll have Jamie give us those changes in just a moment. From your perspective, how do Barça get back into this game down 3-1?
Well, they need to control the game a little bit better. They were handling the ball a little bit like it was a hot potato in the first half. Get back to how they play, keep possession, get the ball out wide. Even though it hasn't worked with Graham Hansen so much, it will, because I think Basha is quite erratic, and I think she's going to give away free kicks or at least a penalty or something. And yeah, just play their style of play.
All right, well, we're going to check in with Jamie Coles, because Jamie, on our screens right now, we are seeing one big difference.
Well, yeah, Asisat Oshuala has entered the field of play. And, well, you know what that means. It means, hopefully, we're going to see some goals. And I hope so, because I'm now behind Lyon's goal. And I want to see some action here.
She finished with 20 goals in La Liga Iberdrola this season. She's got 1 goal in the Champions League, Emma.
Yeah, and she scored 1 goal in 2019 in the Champions League against Lyon, and it was very, very important. It's exactly what Barca need, because you've seen what they were trying to do. They were trying to play long balls in behind the Lyon defence. The only player that is going to beat the Lyon backline, as in Buchanan and Renard, is Asisat Oshuala.
Well, we have kicked off. Second half underway. It will be Barça heading right to left now on our screens. Lyon with a 2-goal lead. They were up 3-0. Alexia Putellas got one back. They are still very active in Plaza Catalunya as well. We only have the Plaza Catalunya shot, but in Mollete Valles, where Alexia is from, they also have a big screen set up there. Would have loved to see an image from the goal after she herself scored it. Changes necessary for Barça, and Lyon will come out with some early high pressure as well, as they did in the first half. Barça trying to work out of it.
That's a player we haven't spoken much about, Aitana Bonmati, right? She was very, very quiet in the first half.
Well, they worked through the press, and now they're trying to feed Oshuala for the first time, and the ball is just parried out of play for a Barça throw. Moppy trying to go through the lines. Patry now moves it along towards the far side where Caroline Graham Hansen is. She links up, and it's the return pass to her, goes over the byline for a goal kick.
Wasn't bad from Barca. Patry did really well to get the ball and switch it out to Graham Hansen, who obviously they've been told that they need to support Graham Hansen, because Aitana Bonmati straight away went over there and they went for the 1-2. Better play from Barca, a little bit higher up the pitch. Again, I'd like to see the passing just a little bit crisper and a little bit quicker.
Ine sending it up the far side. Nobody's really there for it. Oshuala is chasing this one down, and she's nearly gotten there, and Renard had to get to it quickly. But again, Barça, with their high pressure, this time have been awarded a foul. It took the referee just a moment for Aitana Bonmati to be awarded that foul, but she went down, and Barça have a free kick.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the pressure from Asisat Oshuala here. She nearly took it off Renard. She's so quick in closing the ball down. Renard passes it back to her goalkeeper with not much space between the goalkeeper and Asisat, and Endler gives the ball away. It's a poor clearance from the goalkeeper.
We're 3 minutes into the second half, and early in the second half, something like this could change the dynamic drastically. Endler has set up her wall. Alexia is standing over it. I believe Graham Hansen is the right boot. It's left for Alexia. She's thinking about having a go. Instead, she sends it, looking for Graham Hansen, and it's taken away right away by Renard, and Lyon can try to break the other way, and they've done that. It's still Renard carrying the ball, the defender, all the way through, and finally Barca's defense does enough to halt play.
Well, it's disappointing, isn't it? to have a free kick like that in such a good position to give the ball away. It's very frustrating, 3-1 down, and you need to take these chances, at least make the keeper work, put them under pressure.
Aitana sends it forward. That's a lot to ask of Graham Hansen. No indication yet. Now they don't have possession. Jamie, is there anybody warming up for Barça? We've seen Oshoala come in, and we know that Pina was warming up earlier with Lika Martins.
Yeah, both of those still warming up. Ana Chornogorcevic is also there on the touchline warming up now.
So one substitution made. And break through again. This is Macario cutting inside, wants that shot on her right foot, instead keeps the ball moving. The shot from distance right into Panos' hands.
Didn't have enough on it from Mallard, but again, Barça causing problems down that left-hand side.
Certainly get the sense that the next big chance that either of these teams get has to be put away from their perspective. Looking to find Oshoala through the middle. Bernard helping on the defense. Horan sending it further up the pitch, but Rolfo tracks back. So Lyon team looking to capture their 8th Champions League title. They won their first in 2011. They won 5 in a row between 2016 and 2020.
You can just see Aitana Bonmati in the picture there getting really frustrated. She was on the ball, had a look up and felt she didn't have any options.
Alexia is tripped, but seemingly inadvertently and perhaps even over herself. It's a Lyon throw-in. Nervous faces in Plaza Catalunya.
That's where you want to see them press higher and you know, with more energy. They're pressing, but they're not pressing enough, because if you're going to do a high press, a successful one, the player on the ball does not have the time to pick a pass out. And you can see Barça are trying to high press, but it's not efficient because Basha just turned there and still picked out Wendy Renard. And you can't do that in high press. They shouldn't be allowed to do that.
This has fallen to Horan, who keeps it moving. Perhaps a chance for Lyon. The shot comes in, and Panos watches it fly over the bar. It was Cascarino on the near side who took one touch and then fired.
Yeah, a little bit of space for Cascarino out here in the right. You can see Rolfo got drawn in centrally when Horan was on the ball and just left too much space for Cascarino, and luckily she hit it over the bar.
Here's Aitana. She's got space and time to pick out Graham Hansen, who slows it down. So a lot of bodies behind the ball for Lyon. Over the top, Alexia had it plucked off of her feet. Oshoala chases it down. Now Alexia might get to it in the box.
Offside.
And she's in an offside position.
Yeah, shame. But again, good pressing from Oshoala. You really, this is what she does. This is why you don't want to play against her. She just closes the space so quickly that it doesn't give it, you just don't have a minute. And the fact that you know she's even there, it puts you under a little bit of pressure.
Any second guessing about the idea of leaving her on the bench to start this game?
Well, I think Diego mentioned it. She wasn't scoring goals. She wasn't being very clinical. But for me, I'd always have her on the pitch in a game like this, that she just opens up the pitch. That just makes the opposition defend deep. They can't leave that space behind them. And she closes down really well, which just it allows other players to play in and around her. And I think it's exactly what Barca need, because Mariona, Aitana, who we haven't spoken about much, they haven't had that space to play. And now they do have a little bit more of it.
Referee has brought a couple of players together. I see Hegerberg and Paredes getting a talking to. Paredes talked earlier this week about the prospect of winning her first Champions League trophy after coming over from PSG. She knows this team very well, Lyon.
She's looked a little bit nervy out there today, I have to say. She's usually such a calm, cool head on her. Made a couple of uncharacteristic mistakes in the first half. It's taken her a little while to get settled into this game.
Ball is with Lyon. Asking Rolfo to defend, which she will, and then some. Wins it back for Barça. We haven't seen Oshoala get quite the number of touches that we're used to seeing in what is, for her, the first 10 minutes of this game.
I mean, she is going to want the ball into that space behind, but when she's getting it to feet, which will be on occasions, she really needs to get in front of the player and be strong. It's something that they were lacking in the first half, and because Lyon are a very big physical team, you need to be as physical as them, and Oshoala is. She's as physical. She needs to get in front and she needs to hold the ball up.
Here's Henry, who scored the first one. I should say, that's Horan. A long ball through, looking for Hegerberg, is held up that time by Irene, who defends very well.
She did very, very well there yet. Strong, taking the ball, calm, passing it inside.
These long diagonals over the top right now for Barça. There don't seem to be anybody waiting on the other end.
It's very strange. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen them do that before, playing the ball into complete nothing, no one. I suppose they're expecting Rolfo to push up a little bit, but she has her hands full with Cascarino.
You have to credit Oshoala. She's been chasing down those back passes. Consistent pressure. Horan now has it. Into the box she goes. Horan looking for a cross. It was Rolfo who got in with the initial clearance, but it stayed with Lyon. The ball has stayed in play.
That's the difference between these two teams. When Lyon get on the ball, they drive into the box, and they know that Barça can't tackle them. Barça, for me, haven't done that very well today. They haven't used that space, the 18-yard box, very well, especially when they're up against defenders like Basha, who does give away penalties, who is a little bit erratic. They haven't exposed that at all.
Clearance by Mapi Leon.
We're going to see some changes here, guys.
Yeah, Jamie, what do you see?
I'm seeing Lieke, Claudia Pina, both on the touchline, ready to enter the field of play.
Hold on, here's a shot from distance, and it's hit the crossbar from such a long ways away. That nearly would have been, forget the goal of the year, more than that, it was Patri Guijarro who had Endler backpedaling and nearly put it in from half field.
It was nearly too good. If you asked her to hit the crossbar from there, she wouldn't. She'd put it in the goal. Oh, Endler was really struggling. She's pedaling back, thinking, okay, I'm getting worried. She wasn't going to get there. A little bit, just even a centimetre lower.
Jamie?
Christiane Endler is receiving medical attention right now inside her own goal.
She came down hard on it's not a post, it's not a crossbar, but you can see there's a bar that keeps the goal upright along the backside. It's the 3 or 4 yards between the end line and the goal. And we see Lika Martins, I see Anna Maria Crnogorcevic. We will see changes. Jamie, do you have those for us?
Yeah, sorry, I'm watching Christiane Endler receive what looks sort of a massage to her right calf and a bit of spray. Yeah, you're right. Lika Martins and Anna Crnogorcevic have both come onto the pitch. Fridolina Rolfo's welcomed Lieke with great enthusiasm.
Marta has come off and Mariona has come off.
Well, Mapi Lyon's now receiving instructions from Jonathan Corraldez. There's a shake-up here in this Barca side now.
They'll go to 3 at the back. Go to 3 at the back, put Anna Jornagorcevic on the right and Lieke in where Mariona was. Just a bit more energy. It's, you know, if they need to close down, they need to press high. They've got 30 minutes to get back in this game to score 2 goals, maybe even 3. So they need to go for it, and it needs to be 100%, and the pressing hasn't been good enough so far.
Lieke has come in and she's missed considerable time.
On the wing.
I'm sorry, Jamie, what was that?
I think, sorry to jump in, I know we've got a slight delay. I've seen Rolfo quite stretched on the wing. She's struggled getting back, and I think maybe Anna Jornagorcevic coming onto the pitch will free her up to cause a bit of problem in attack as well.
Barca have made the changes and they'll have a throw in and their fans are willing them on. Yeah, I could sense the slightest delay only because you were seeing that shot come in from distance from midfield.
That's a booking, by the way, to throw the ball away like that, and she's already on a yellow card at a Hegerberg.
And that's Crnogorcevic who's saying something similar, and now Hegerberg is getting a talking to.
They are fired up today.
I don't know if that's the yellow that you can give. That
it is. A yellow's a yellow. Unfortunately, if you had another one before that.
Also now being forced to defend. 2 Barca defenders converging on Cascarino. Rolfo sending it forward for Oshawala.
She looked offside.
Is she in an onside position? Play will continue for the moment, and now the flag comes up.
And it's a silly thing, because all she needs to do is look across and she see, just hold your run for that split second. Nobody was near her. She could have held it and still gotten to that ball first.
And now we're at the point of this game where we're seeing time wasting become a factor.
Yeah. We can see Bouhadi warming up the second choice keeper for Lyon, so an injury to Endler might have been quite substantial.
Rolfo has been shunned down by Cascarino, and then Patri uses her physicality to win it back for Barca. "17 minutes played through this second half, no goals yet. Barca got 1 back in the 41st minute from Alexia that made it 3-1. That's where we stand now. Here they come again, up the right-hand side this time. Cutting back infield, Aitana Bonmati with some sweet feet. Past Lieke Martins, out to Rolfo. Rolfo into the box. Rolfo looking for a cross, and she'll put it into the side netting instead.
It was better, much better from Barca, playing higher up the pitch, higher pressure, looking a little bit more confident.
Wasn't too far away from the post. As far as bench options are concerned for Barca, they've made those 3 changes. Claudia Pina would be, I think, the last remaining major attacking option as Barca win the free kick.
Yeah, Claudia Pina is still warming up here on the touchline.
And right now, the ball is just being kicked away for Barca, and that's going to result in a time-wasting yellow. There you go. Well, it wasn't Hegerberg. It was Macario.
Oh, there's nothing more annoying than when you're down in a game and it's one of those games and the other team starts time waste. I should know, because playing for Ireland, that's what we used to do a lot.
You may have gotten 1 or 2 time-wasting cautions in your day.
Yes, and 1 or 2 name-calling incidents from oppositions.
So here come Barça, and here is Aitana, and it's still Aitana. And it's good defense again. Bernard has played an exceptional defensive game thus far. Graham Hansen now. Barça have it back. Alexia. Didn't quite have the right accuracy to find Lika, and Endler just boots it out. Just looking for one chance.
This is where the fans play their part. At this exact moment of the game, when Barca are trying and it's not working, and then the fans come into play and they start getting behind the team. It gives them a little bit more energy, just gives them that extra oomph.
Well,
they still have time to wave at the camera, though.
Ask and you shall receive. The fans doing their part. And the fans are also asking for Endler to put this ball back in play, which ultimately she does. One back, though, after a second and third bat around by Patri. Irene on the switch. Gorcevic for Graham Hansen, looking for a cross. Didn't get past Basha. Renard pops it up high and far, so we'll have a throw. Player down. It's a Lyon player who's hurt, and the referee has stopped play because she's grabbing her head. Looks like Macario, and it looks like she knows exactly what she's doing. I'd like to see where she got hit.
That was a bit of a trailing arm from Anna Trnogorcevic. You still have time, Jonathan Geraldes.
Yeah, and he's frustrated. He's saying every time, and I think he's specifically pointing out Macario, who has been one of the wasting time queens, and she's already been booked for it. And Jamie, I see a change coming on the Lyon side.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to take this moment to make a substitution. From where I'm sitting, it looks like Lesomelo. But all eyes currently are focused on the other side of the pitch.
Macario has stayed down, and she'll have to come off the pitch for the time being. And some of the Barca players right now just having a word with the officiating crew, saying, let's just make sure we get this time added back on later.
Well, if the players don't do it, the fans will, I tell you.
Well, Alexia's pretty much pushed her off the pitch.
She's had enough.
Come on you go.
So it'll be a drop ball for Barca after the change was made. It was Le Sommet, but I didn't see who came out.
I'm not sure they made the change, realizing that they could waste more minutes.
Of course.
If you make the change a little bit later on.
Macario has been ushered back onto the pitch, and she's hearing it from the fans. Back with Barca. Need to find a way to create. Mapi sends it inside. Alexia hounded, nowhere to go. Not a single outlet for her.
Yeah, they've made life really difficult for the midfielders, haven't they? Particularly Alexia, like just crowding, packing out that midfield, 2 on her every single time. But what that means is there's a Barca player free, you know, if she can move the ball a bit quicker.
Anthony with a long switch. Črnogorčević heads it forward. Only Renard was there. And right now the attacking options for Lyon are limited too, because they're focused on keeping numbers behind the ball. So the long ball forward, they turn it over, and Barça come again. Aitana looking for another switch, and this one too is cut off.
What we don't want to start happening is Barca players getting frustrated and making poor decisions, because they still have 20 minutes left, plus 22, 23 minutes. They can do this if they just keep their heads, make good decisions.
Graham Hansen will look for the cross. It's cut out. It was nearly coming through to Alexia. 20 minutes plus whatever stoppage time we get. Lika has not had much of a touch. Looking to spring Graham Hansen, but turns it over. And Hegerberg links up brilliantly with Basha. And then Mappi comes in and cleans up.
Great play from Mappi. Really good defending from her. And now Basha's gone down injured.
The referee doesn't have to stop play now. Basha's behind the play, which leaves Lyon without one of their defenders.
She's back on her feet.
Realizing that they're not going to stop the play.
Mappi Leon over the top. It's a long ball too far for Črnogorčević, and the Lyon fans are loving it at the moment.
We're going to stop for a water break, guys. Ah, no, we're not. No, we're not. Sorry.
I think this is our change.
It looks like... Yeah, we are. We're going to get the refreshment break.
The change is being made right now. It's Mallard coming out and Les Sommer coming in. One of Lyon's top goal scorers, and she comes onto the pitch, and now we get the break. Let's send it back over to Jamie Coles. So you've got about 18 minutes left before stoppage time, Jamie. This is sort of a chance for Barça to regroup, perhaps maybe a timeout within the game.
Absolutely. Jonathan Heralde is very fired up in the middle of the group there. Alexia and Mappi Lyon also had a pretty serious looking conversation. The fans are also taking the opportunity to get fired up once again as we head into the final stretch of this match. We've seen a different Barca in the second half, you have to admit.
Emma, with not much changing in the way of opportunities, you get the feeling that if there is one that comes about, it has to be taken.
Absolutely, and you know, they aren't going to get many opportunities in this game, and neither have Lyon, but it's all about decision making now from Barca. It's all about using that experience they have in the Champions League, not losing their heads, not passing the ball, making silly passes because they feel frustrated, or you know, they want to get the ball higher, quicker. They need to go back to their game plan, keep the ball. They can open up Lyon. They haven't done it yet in the game at all. And it's unfortunate because they can. And it's just about making the right decisions again.
Here comes that pressure, and Barca trying to break through it. Just slows them down ever so slightly, and now Lika has sprung Oshoala, who can try to take on some defenders. But she looks for a cross, and it's just not there.
Such a poor ball, Spence. Oshoala's looked up. She has options, and she tries to cross the ball. Square pass, which is really dangerous. And there wasn't enough strength in it or accuracy.
Alexia for Lika Martins. Barça come forward again. Short on options. Rolfo looking for a cross here on the near side. Gets the cross in. Oshoala's waiting for it, and it goes wide of the post. She made the connection, but she missed the target.
It's a great ball.
And she's offside.
Absolutely great ball by Rolfo. What a ball. You can see Endler, she goes to come and then realize she's made a mistake. She shouldn't have. She would have been offside anyway.
Yeah. Certainly carries a little bit less significance once you see the call for offside, and another Lyon player has gone down.
It's getting a bit disappointing that it's heading into this kind of situation. Lika Martins has just had a very heated conversation with Lina Letovara, official here. Alexia now is there, putting the pressure on. It's very frustrating from where I'm sitting, from where you're sitting, I'm sure. These players are doing very, very well to keep their cool. Claudia Pina is now on the pitch.
Well, the thing about that is it shouldn't be the players doing that. The players really need to focus on their game, and I feel like all of this is affecting them a little bit because, you know, they're making silly mistakes and giving the ball away, and they're so focused on them wasting time. They should just focus on, you know, the ref is going to add the time, just get the ball back and use this time efficiently and start creating some chances.
It's certainly breaking up the game, and Mappi has fouled Hegerberg. It's a free kick for Lyon in their attacking half. Taken by Basha. Back post, there's a runner there, and it's Renard who didn't get the right connection.
Such a high line from Barça. We spoke about this in the season as well. They keep a high line, and that space behind them, if Paños is on her line, the space is too big, and you could see it there. The ball was just played in behind, and it was easy for Wendy Renard to come onto it. It's really dangerous defending.
Good defending again from Lyon. Oshoala can't squeak through. Irene covers at the back and recycles it to Paños, and Barça play out of the back again. They've got 13 minutes plus whatever's added on. They've dominated possession, as you'd expect. Numbers up to 57. Cannot yet get a grip on the scoreline. Martins for the substitute Pina. Alexia keeps it moving. Now Lika Martins with a left-footed cross. It's cleared by Renard. It comes right back out to Lika here on the near side. Patri facilitates. Aitana turns. Again Lika wants that left-footed curler across towards the back post. Oshoala came up for it, but Endler was there.
No, but it's better though. It's much better from Barça. You know, definitely getting the fans going in the stadium. They're playing in Leon's half. And if you look at the stats, I'm sure the stats are very favourable for Barça in possession.
It's a Barça throw. And another player has gone down for Lyon. It's Mbak Bafi.
Yeah, I'm not sure what she's gone down for there. It's very, very soft. I think she's complaining of cramp again, but
Jonathan Heraldo, looks like he's going to get a card here. He has.
I mean, it's quite excessive, the time wasting here now. They really are breaking up the rhythm.
And it's not like it's a 1-goal game at this point. It's a 2-goal game. So you're only allowing more time on the clock at the end. It's not like the referee is going to forget about these moments. She will add the time on afterwards.
Well, it was like Man City, Real Madrid. You thought there was going to be a lot of time added on. There was only 3 minutes.
Is it a free kick for Barça? I thought the ball was
indeed.
I thought the ball was kicked out of play.
Yeah, it was a throw-in for Barça.
It was.
Okay. We'll take it.
This could be interesting. It's set up just short of the corner flag. And now, Lyon are making changes. Cascarino comes off. Marooni's ready to come on.
More defensive player. Moroni, who actually had a season with Barça, she can play right back or left back.
All right, we're still not quite sure how we got to this point
with a free
kick, but Barça would be happy to take advantage of it. Graham Hansen is going to send it towards goal. Back post, and it's headed clear. Out to the far side, Pina will let it roll, and now it'll be a throw. Pina calling for it on the lead pass. Instead it finds Alexia, who looks to dump it back to Pina. Comfortable clearance out of harm's way. Barça fighting for every loose ball now.
Better.
Patri sends it wide. Alexia, which way will she go? Cutting it back onto her left foot, chipping it across. Couldn't reach Lika or Aitana, who was making a run. Barça are to make this comeback. They have to come up with at least one in the next couple of minutes. Jamie.
We've got Leila Wabi and Ingrid Engen on the touchline here doing some warm-up exercises. I'm not sure if they're stretching their legs, coming to put some more pressure on the referee and Lyon, or I don't know, but they're here stretching their legs and warming up.
So they've made 4 changes. Oshawala is now in a wide position. She's got the ball ready for a cross. She sends a cross in, back post, it's come in, and the volley from Crnogorcevic.
It's a chance.
It's wide.
It's a great chance. Crnogorcevic comes in. Basha, again, it's actually Pearl, the former Barca player, who just lets Crnogorcevic go in. Great chance, goes down as a chance. And you just wonder, is that it? Did she need to score that one?
And we could set up for a very dramatic finish if Barca can get one soon. But they have to find a way. Lika Martins, near side. Passes up on the cross, instead finds Alexia, who looks for Oshawala, who's trying to turn and shoot, trying to keep it on her feet. Now it's Pina, she'll fire. Cleared away, Aitana on the follow-up. That shot is blocked, and the rebound takes it all the way out to Paños.
It's going to be really interesting to see how many minutes are added here.
What would your best guess be?
It has to be more than 6. I'm going to say 6.
Oshawala chests it down beautifully. Now needs to make a move, turns and fires, and it's deflected away for a throw. Back with Aitana. Again, Barça looking for those crosses. Patri pops it up into no man's land. Reynard clears. Hegerberg battling with Irene. Hegerberg just went down, and the referee gives a late whistle. And it'll actually end up being a booking. Both Barca center backs are in the book. Play restarted by Renard. They're only looking for long balls at this point. Have no intention of attacking. They got their 3 early.
They really have. As soon as they scored that 3rd goal, they literally just sat off everybody behind the goal, but the ball. I mean, they won't care if they lift the trophy, but they haven't showed, you know, how good of a team they are in this second half at all.
Slip through for Alexia, who's got Oshoala, who's being held. Oshoala sticks with it. Referee, I suppose, was trying to play advantage. I mean, it's a clear foul. And now there's a Lyon player down, but Oshoala was being held.
Yeah, but she needs to be clever. She'd have to go down there if she wanted anything.
It was on the outside of the box, but it was creeping towards that 18-yard line. Now the time wasting continues as Lyon have a throw. They finally bring it back in. Alexia on the turn, heavy first touch, but she stays with it. Alexia tries the shot, and it is a corner. It took a deflection.
Oh, the noise in the stadium's incredible, isn't it?
Got to start happening. Barca need a moment.
I count 10 players in or around the Lyon penalty area right now.
Well, that's everybody. Except Paños. Corner comes in towards the back post. There's a Barca player who hits the floor, and it is harmlessly a goal kick. And now, hold on, the referee is saying, before you bring the ball back into play, we're going to have a quick look. Chernogorcevic goes down. There's some contact.
Chernogorcevic. Yeah, I mean, she had a case because Ada Hegerberg actually turned her back on the ball, so she wasn't even watching the ball at that time. And we're just looking at Melanie Serrano's twins in the crowd.
Yeah, there's one more sub that can still be made for Barca.
Ball's got to go forward. Just taking their time.
Lika. Mapi. Lika trying to turn. Pina wants a shot from distance. Won't do it. It's chested down by Endler, and she'll pick it up. Mapi for Lika Martins as Barca have it back. But just as much high pressure from Lyon, making it difficult. Etana. Chernogorcevic. Jamie.
Irene Paredes seems to be playing as a forward. She's all the way up here, piling the pressure on high.
Yeah, well, this is where we expect that Barca to now change to crossing and finishing team, get the ball out wide and get as many crosses in as you can, but they're not doing it quick enough.
Here's Mapi sending it to Lika Martins. This is a chance for a cross. She'll send it short. That's a good ball. Pina lost it. Oshoala sticks with it. Oshoala's shot, and it didn't curl.
And look where Aitana Bonmati is. She's literally in line with the penalty spot saying, give me the ball. I'm free.
Every ball out of play like that means that Lyon have time to waste time. After the goal kick, it's back with Barça again. Just can't keep it today. Mapi comes in with a strong foul.
Just to be careful. She's already got a yellow card. Just want to get another yellow for dissent the last minute.
We are approaching the 90-minute mark. Jamie, when you see the number, shoot it to us.
7 minutes. 7 minutes.
7 is the word. That's still time for Barca to squeak out 2. They need 2 to force extra time. They were down 3-0 at one point. Caroline Graham-Hansen, Claudia Pina looking for an option. Serna Gorcevic back for Graham-Hansen, looks to get the cross in, does so, and it's headed up and over the bar by Irene, who was right in there.
Again, another chance though. Has to go down as a chance. It's just a little bit high, but should probably be a little bit disappointed with that. Better though. This is what they need to do. Fire as many crosses in as they can. They've literally got 6 minutes.
Barca have won all of the second balls off of these goal kicks, which are giving them the opportunity to come forward again. Pina nearly rolled through to Graham-Hansen, but the back line of Lyon doing its job. Paredes has just picked it up fortuitously, and her through ball in the box cut out and cleared. Barca looking to get another cross in. They've got multiple players waiting in the box. Graham-Hansen with the cross over the head of Oshoala. And it rolls through, and it's another goal kick. Does not look like it is Barca's night tonight.
No. Unfortunately, Lyon are to give them more sleepless nights. They have to wait another year to get some revenge.
It was fitting that it came in the final. These teams have met at earlier stages. They met in the quarterfinal the year before they met in the final, and of course Lyon won that one also. Barca have to get it forward now quickly. They have done that. Graham-Hansen back to Aitana, facilitated to Alexia. Wide on the near side for Mapi Leon. Her left boot is not her finest. Goal kick.
But you have to give credit to Lyon in the first half, coming out as they did, completely fired up, very, very physical, really high pressure. They pressed really well, and it shook Barca. It shook them off their rhythm, and it's the only way you can play against Barca is trying to knock them off that rhythm, because if they get that rhythm and pick up that momentum, they're really difficult to stop.
It's a late challenge, and a yellow card, I believe, is for Moroni.
Yeah, Moroni, left back. Really late, really dangerous actually.
Free kick near the halfway line for Barca. Paños is going to come up to take it so everybody else can get forward. It'll be Paños to send this in. And she does it well. Paredes got her head to it, and Renard calmly heads it back to the keeper, Endler. Referee is pointing to her watch as a Lyon player has gone down. And so the referee will stop play until we resume play. So now we're going to go beyond the 7 minutes.
Well, yeah, as long as it stops, she's stopping the time. They're going to get that extra 3 minutes or so. Henri is a experienced player. If anybody's going to get cramp, it's going to be her.
Jamie, just curious, is anybody else warming up right now? Is there a Melanie sighting?
Layla's still on the touchline, but I don't think she's warming up. Ingrid Engen's still there as well, actually. I can just see her behind the corner flag.
Just wonder with the game potentially out of reach.
Going to be a change
in the final minute if Melanie Serrano would make a cameo appearance, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. Lyon have another throw. They'll take their time to do it, and there are about 2.5, maybe 3 minutes left of this game. Dejected looks of some of the faces of the Barça players, fans. Oshoala chasing this one down, trying to get to it. She got there. Who did it go off of last? And off of Lyon. Barça have a throw. Would have to happen now. Mapi with the cross in, right at Endler.
Yeah, at the end of the day, the final ball just hasn't been good enough for Barça. It's not their style of play to just get the ball in the box, but if you have to go down, you know, have a plan B and play that way, they have to be better balls. You know, they haven't really tested Endler at all. She had one save in the first half, but for a team like Barça to be renowned for scoring goals and created chances, they'd have to be a little bit disappointed with themselves today.
Final 30 seconds. And Lyon may have a chance for a fourth. They've flooded numbers forward. Cross from Les Sommer goes to the back post, and the shot hits the post. It beat Paños.
It was a save. Keeper's union. Great save from Paños. I mean, it was a great strike, wasn't it? The ball floated in to the back post to Ada Hegerberg. She takes it first time on her left foot. Really good strike. But I'm going to say it's a save from Paños. Let's give her some credit today.
Well, it's been a tough night, and now Lyon just have the ball in their attacking third. We're beyond the added 7 minutes. We might get another 20 seconds or so, but not enough time for Barça to scrape across 2 goals. They could not complete the comeback. They got one. They will come forward again and try with Alexia. Alexia will surely take on this shot. Instead, she dumps it off for Oshoala. Back to Alexia, the extra pass, Paredes, and now the flag comes up belatedly. And that is the final whistle as well. Lyon are crowned champions for the 8th time in 11 seasons. They've done it again. They have beaten Barça, and Barça cannot repeat their championship this year. They will wait until next year to try and get back to glory in Europe. Their quest for the quadruple is denied. Well, it's been a difficult night for Barça. Emma, as you begin to digest this game early, it's fresh. How do you feel?
I feel Barca were a little bit shell-shocked how Lyon started. They're so physical, and I think Barca really struggled to put their stamp on the game. They'll be really disappointed because they have been absolutely exceptional for the whole season. The Champions League, they've absolutely destroyed teams. Nobody has even touched them, and then to come to the final and not have played their style of football, having let another team dictate play, that'll be really disappointing for them.
Yeah, the goals came early in this game. 3 goals in about 30 minutes, more or less, 33 to be exact. The first one from Amadine Henry was the best of the lot, and it sort of snowballed things a little bit. It got things started for Lyon, and Barça were consistently playing from behind.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what happens. Goals change games, and that's exactly what happened tonight, and it was just too difficult for Barca to come back from that. But I have to say the second goal was from Barca mistakes, and those are the ones that keep you up at night. Those are the ones that really make you lose sleep, and they will, because they don't tend to make mistakes, and you certainly can't make them against a team like Lyon. So that's probably the most upsetting thing about tonight, is mistakes that led to goals, and the fact that they couldn't create anything. For me, that was poor decision making, and maybe just that urgency in them to try and create something. It just didn't work.
We're getting a look at some of the statistics on the left-hand portion of our screen. 61% possession for Barça. The shots and the shots on target were plentiful. And is there anything else that stands out to you in particular?
Not really. I mean, Barca's total passes 523 compared to 349. That's normal because they had most of the possession. I mean, 61% possession, that's a lot, isn't it? That's all down in the second half because Lyon weren't interested. They just wanted to defend their lead. Surprising that Lyon only have 3 yellow cards, to be quite honest, because just time wasting alone, I would have given them maybe 4 or 5. But in general, it was bit of a lackluster game, wasn't it? The first 20 minutes were fantastic, and then as soon as Lyon dropped off a little bit, it became a bit of a stalemate.
Well, you said in this game, and you've said it in previous games too, that physicality is the recipe for creating problems for Barça. The physicality that Lyon showed today was sort of emblematic of that idea that if you break them out of their rhythm a little bit, they can become flustered, and it can be a problem to then come back into the game, especially depending on it. This isn't about the referee, but it's how the referee calls the game. If those physical plays are allowed or not penalized further, it does make the game more accessible to Lyon.
Yeah, absolutely, and you could see that was Lyon's intent right from the start. They came out, they pressed really, really high. So the idea not to give Barca players any time on the ball is something that we've spoken about as well. You can't allow them time, which they did. They're also very, very physical, and they were lucky that the ref was quite lenient. And if you have a ref like that, for me, being a Barca player, I'd say, okay, this ref is letting things go. We have to do the same. And they didn't do the same. They weren't being as nasty. They were still, focused on keeping the ball and playing nice football, when sometimes you have to go down to that level and get in the dogfight.
We just seen a shot of Melanie Serrano, whose European career has come now to an end. She will retire with the Champions League trophy to her name from last season, but she will not grab a second in a row. Speaking from your experience, you've won a Champions League. You got to that final, and again, it was 2 legs, but you know that after that second leg was over, you were crowned champions. Having to experience loss on the other side, what does that feel like? We've talked about how it can motivate you further, but tonight specifically, when it's so fresh, what are those emotions?
Well, I mean, you never want to lose as a player, never. But I feel even more sympathy for these Barca players because they've done everything exceptional. They haven't put a foot wrong in a year, and it was theirs to win. Everyone expected them to win. I'm looking at my phone, I can already see people texting, what happened? Oh my God, I can't believe it. And that's the pressure they're under. They should have done better as well. They were a better team. And that's what's most upsetting for them, because they know they could have done better. Whereas with our Champions League run, we were beaten by a better team the next year, so there's nothing we could have done about it. But Barca tonight will be hurting. They'll be hurting for a long time after this, and it's just going to bring back the 2019 final as well.
Well, we are going to step aside now. It is Barça, a 3-1 loss on the night, and Lyon are crowned champions of Europe. We step aside. And we are going to see further. It does look like they're going to stick with these pictures for now until Lyon have come through and raised the trophy. It's a sea of blue and white right now, and a little bit of red for Lyon. Their fans have made this through. They were kind of the underdogs in this situation, even though they've been the 7-time champions. They came into this game with the idea that, well, everybody thinks that we're the ones being counted out, but our pedigree speaks for itself.
Yeah, because of their how they've been playing on the build-up to this. They haven't been the same Lyon, as everybody knows. Serious injuries, Marjan out as well, a very important player. And yeah, they were the underdogs, but that's exactly what you want going into the final. You don't want that pressure. You want to be the underdogs to prove everybody wrong.
Going through now the motions to get everybody through the line. It will be Barça who will stick this out and wait their turn as well. The trophy has already been garnished with red and blue, which is not quite Blaugrana. It's close. How quickly does Barça get back to work?
Well, they've got 2 games, well, hopefully 2 games coming up in the Copa. They have a game coming up next week, so maybe not tomorrow, but certainly the following day. They'll be back in on Monday to get their heads back in it. They also, the break, they've got the Euros, they've got like 8 Barca players on the Spanish team, so they won't be switching off anytime soon. Yeah, and for me as a player, I want to get training straight away. I want to get this out of my head, and the only way to do that for me is to get back into training and, focusing on the next game.
Well, the goal was the quadruple. That was what they were after, because last year, as Alexia said it, as other players said it, it didn't happen. Mm-hmm. They didn't win the Supercopa last year. They had done that earlier this year. They took care of the league in March. The Champions League is not going to be on their resume in 2022, but they still have the Copa de la Reina that they can get after. What's strange is that they go up against a team now in Real Madrid, who they've seen so many times this season, who they've beaten so many times this season. Does that motivate Madrid a little bit more to see that they're fallible?
I think so. I think it's really difficult to play against a team over and over again, and you're under pressure because you should win again. Real Madrid are the underdogs, and it's percentage. They have to get a result at some stage. Well, so you would think. But after losing tonight, I think it's going to be more motivation for Barca to go and win against Madrid.
They are hand in hand now, and the trophy is making its way up to the pedestal where Lyon will receive their medals, and then the trophy lift. This one might be harder to watch from Barca's side.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, they have to go and collect their medals first. It's all... You don't even want to be standing there while they lift the trophy. You feel a bit awkward because you have to clap, but you just want to bury your head.
Now,
ladies and gentlemen, may we have a round of applause for the match officials,
the two
who will now receive the commemorative
teams are still on the pitch, and the officials for the match are coming through first to receive their medals. They're hearing a couple of whistles, as is pretty much customary every time around. I would say, in general, as long as the officials are coming up, to have a quick conversation about them. They had their way of calling this game, and they stuck to it.
Yeah, I don't think they did anything wrong. I think they did quite well, actually. It was up to Barça to be as physical, because you come across refs that won't let anything go, and they're blowing the whistle every 3 seconds, which is really frustrating to not let the flow go. And now we're coming across referees to let things go a little bit more, which I like personally. But it's up to both teams then to reach that level and, you know, to put their foot in.
Barcelona, runners-up of the UEFA Women's Champions League 2022.
Now Barça will make their way through, and I believe Lyon are giving them essentially their version of a guard of honor.
Della UEFA Women's Champions League 2022. Congratulazioni.
Jonathan Giraldez going first. Players coming through, and the Lyon players congratulating them on a successful season up to this point. It's been one of the best seasons in the history of women's football, but it will not end with a Champions League title, which for so many of these players has to be crushing. Also, Leka Martins, Caroline Graham-Hansen. It's also a shame because we know, Emma, that teams change from year to year. So it's not going to be this exact group again next year, like it wasn't from last year to this year. And so it's sort of the culmination of the end of a season-long era.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it changes all the time. Giraldez will want to bring a couple of players in. I've heard rumours a couple of players leaving. You know, that's the nature of the game. Giraldez has to look at tonight's game and see what he needs to compete and to beat Lyon. Maybe, you know, I think the midfield did really well. Patrick Haro did really well in there. Alexia was very, very good in difficult times when they were just swarming her. Aitana, first half, very, very quiet. She found a bit more space in the second half, and she started projecting that energy into the game, which we know she can do. And maybe it's that out-and-out number 9, you know, that out-and-out striker that it's what Giraldez needs, but that'll be up to him. That'll be his decision.
Well, Barça went first, and now they will ceremoniously line up and congratulate Lyon for coming through. A fantastic season for them, which is also not done yet. Their domestic season runs beyond this game. They're 5 points up on PSG, who they beat in the semi-final of this competition. They've got 2 games left to play. They will go to Paris next weekend to take on PSG, where if PSG were to win, the league would go down to the final week. So they still have some focus to attend to.
Yeah, absolutely. But this is going to be, I mean, they have to enjoy this night first, don't they? I'm sure they're going to celebrate a little bit tonight and then deal with the league next week. But yes, I mean, it can turn out to be an absolutely fantastic season for Bombastor. A great, great first season. You know, and the French league is not easy. It's really not. And it's I think it's going to be fantastic for them. The Champions League was brilliant, but to get the league as well.
Well, when we spoke of Barça and their perfect run earlier this season, of course, their first loss came against Wolfsburg, which ironically puts them at 2 consecutive losses in the Champions League. Before that point, they were, of course, the last remaining unbeaten team in all competitions in Europe. But when it was down to 2, Lyon was the other side. It was Lyon whose loss to Saint-Etienne was their first defeat. First chance to drop points of their league season. And we mentioned that on this show, and I can't quite put my head on exactly when it was, but one of the Barca Lives we did. And I just remember thinking, when Lyon, they went this long without losing a game, it feels like their story isn't done being written yet either. And it was almost like it was destined to see these 2 teams in the final. Maybe we'll see it again next year.
I hope so. I really do. They're a completely different type of team than what Barca have played. It's extremely physical, and I think tactically tonight they were very, very good. And I think Hegerberg, who there's kissing the cup, has worked her socks off. She was working extremely hard up there, and that's really important if you want to press from the front. Didn't get the service maybe she would have liked, but very effective.
Well, the moment is here. Renard is coming for the trophy lift.
Of the UEFA Women's Champions League 2022.
Lyon are the champs. Congratulations to them. A well-deserved title tonight, as she raises the trophy and officially crown Lyon champions of 2022 as they lift in Turin.
Welcome back to Barça Live, where Barça just lost to Lyon in the UEFA Women's Champions League final. 3-1. Goals being scored by Henry with a spectacular opener. Hegerberg doubling the lead. Macario tapping in Lyon's third before Alexia Putellas nabbed her 11th goal for the season. But it wasn't meant to be. It was an unfortunate night, for sure. Not what we expected, not what we are used to, neither from this Barça side. It was a new situation for Jonathan Giralde's team. Barça having all the possession, but just couldn't cope with the efficiency from the French Giants, who win their 8th Champions League trophy. Still with us is our studio panel, Spencer Siegel and Emma Byrne. It was a brutal 97 minutes. Like I said, not what we expected, not what we wanted neither. But in the end, Spencer, you said it yourself, a well-deserved trophy for Lyon. You have to say it.
Yeah, you do. Losing sucks, and it really does. It's not fun, and unfortunately, just about everybody loses throughout the course of the season, even this Barça team. And tonight was not their night. It's one game, it's one cup. This team will be remembered for a lot. They'll be remembered for a fantastic season. They've still got a lot left to accomplish. They've got plenty more in the tank. Tonight, maybe not their night.
Emma, we're having a look at the statistics on our screen right there. As I mentioned, Barça taking the possession stat. When it comes to total shots, very equal, 15 to 13. Shots on target as well. But again, I talked about that efficiency of Lyon in front of goal. Barça's defense just weren't able to stop the Lyon attackers on the day.
No, and they'll be really disappointed because I'm sure one of the main things was to stop the crosses coming in. And if crosses are going to come in, just make sure you pick up as a Hegerberg. I mean, that was probably Mappy's job, to be honest. And you could see that Graham Hansen was going to get beaten. Basha got in there. She was lining up the cross, and Mappy went actually towards her own player, Paredes, and left Hegerberg at the back post, where she shouldn't have even been looking at the ball. Just follow Hegerberg. So that'll be a bit disappointing, you know, just giving the ball away a little bit. The first goal, I mean, it was just a fantastic goal. There's nothing anybody could have done about that. And the third goal as well, for me, they could have done better. Again, it was a mistake. So just they'll be disappointed with those few things, you know, because I feel like it was their mistakes and not necessarily Lyon's brilliance.
So one of the main errors, I mean, there were a number of uncharacteristic errors that we could call it for Barça, and one of them leaving maybe, should we call her Hegelberg, that is the best striker in Champions League history at this point?
Yeah, well, yeah, definitely getting back to that. She was before her injury. She's getting back to it. She's still not there yet, but she's getting back to it. Just with Barca, they don't make mistakes. They know in Champions League you make mistakes, it's goals. And they haven't done it in such a long time, so it was strange to see them do that. But you have to say, it's down to Lyon's pressure and their physicality. The way they started the game, it shook Barca a little bit, and you could see they physically weren't the same. They weren't looking for the ball. They weren't as calm on the ball, and that's the way to do it. That's the way to play against Barca.
It almost felt like Sonia Bonpastore's side knew, or that she had told her team sort of what to expect from this Barça as well. It almost seemed that they knew exactly how to cancel out their game plan.
I don't understand how teams don't know how to play against Barca, because, I mean, you watch them to know how to play. So as a coach, you should be watching them how to stop them. And I never understand why teams sit off Barca and let them play, because they'll destroy you. Managers, coaches will say they can't high press because Barca are so good at getting out of it. No, if your high press is good, they won't. The problem is there'll always be that weak link in the team that it means you can't press them high.
Was one of the keys of this match perhaps the special attention, if we can call it that they gave to Alexia, nullifying her from in that first half in particular, even though she did get, of course, that goal? Yeah,
I think so. And I think they always were trying to impact the midfield. I think it was difficult for Barca's midfield because Lyon do have a really good midfield. They're very physical. They're very experienced and intelligent. But for me, with Barca, the first 10 minutes, okay, we're not going to get it into midfield. Let's play wide. And then when we start playing wide, we can start playing in again, because, you know, Lyon can't cover the whole pitch. And actually, the first 10 minutes, they were doing that. They got Rolfo in on the ball on the left-hand side a couple of times, and they should have done better. She actually stopped at one stage because she thought she heard the whistle, but actually she was in on goal. So I don't know why, for me, a team doesn't keep at that if they can see there's a weakness, which there was, and especially when Carpenter came off. Why they didn't keep drilling that, but actually Rolfo didn't get forward at all.
Well, Lyon in front of goal, very clinical. We've been discussing that. We also talked in the pre-game, of course, of how dangerous their front three players are. But even to this point in the final, with so much on the line, is it a surprise, perhaps, the efficiency that Lyon had in front of goal, or was it? Do we pin it down to maybe jitters, nerves, like that we sometimes see in the finals?
I definitely do. You see some of the mistakes made from the back line. I haven't seen them do that ever. Like even Paredes, for me, who's a very solid defender, At one stage, I mean, the back pass was so short in a Champions League final. Another time she tried to clear it and it spinned off her foot. She never does that. That has to be a little bit of nerves, has to be the pressure from Lyon. And then that filters onto the other players, and it's really difficult to get back on top of that.
It's always fun, of course, to play these hypothetical scenarios, the what-ifs. With Barça coming back, cutting the distance down to 2 goals, coming back and making it 3-1. If Guijarro's goal from the halfway line would have gone in, would that have changed maybe, not necessarily the outcome, but that final stretch of the second half? Would you have imagined maybe nerves to actually have settled into the French side and be more of a nail-biter?
Of course, we said it, goals change games,
right.
And if that had gone in, it would have been a completely different story. And maybe Anna Turnagorchevic's one might have gone in, who knows? I mean, they did, the chances they created, they were decent, but they needed more of it. And you could see already Lyon were pushing back, they were a little bit nervous, but again, Barça didn't turn the screw when they should have smelt that nervousness or whatever you call it, and then turn the screw, and they didn't. All the balls should have been going into the box, time after time, and they didn't. They tried to ticky-tack around it.
Well, we're seeing the French team celebrating, of course, winning their 8th Champions League trophy. The Barça players, we would imagine, have headed to the locker room at this point after having to see their opponents pick up the trophy. No, they're still there on the pitch, actually. Of course, now the next step is, or the next question is, how will Jonathan Giraldez and his team bounce back from this? What will be sort of the initial reaction after this massive disappointment? Will they take a little bit of time to absorb this, to sort of deal with this, and then come back better, stronger, more prepared when the next season starts? Or how do you expect this team to react after such a disappointing loss?
Well, you know, I think it will be difficult for them, but they have a game next week, a cup game next week. They're going to have to focus on that, and then hopefully the cup final, and they win that and they enjoy those moments. But they're going to look back in this game. I mean, it's taken 3 years to get to play them again.
Right.
Hopefully it won't take that long, but I know those 3 years they've been thinking about that game in 2019, so it's really difficult. And only for Sandra Paños, it might have been the same scoreline, which maybe would have hurt a little bit more.
So as a player, how do you digest this loss?
Well, you have to look at, you know, how you as an individual could have done better, and these players do that all the time, and they're very hard on themselves. And I think one of the first things that they need to look at is, okay, the opposition are being more physical. Why are they winning the second balls? Because Lyon were winning all the second balls in the first half. We weren't playing closer enough together, which is what we're famous for. Why weren't we playing closer together? Because we were chasing the ball. There's all these little things that will come in. Why are we giving away balls like that? Look at that. I would never give that pass away in a normal day because I felt under pressure. And it's just things that they're going to learn from, they can improve on. They're better than that. And, you know, people tune in tonight to see Barça play, to see their style of play. They enjoy watching them. And they didn't get to see that, unfortunately.
Well, we're looking at images now of the Lyon players celebrating with the Lyon fans. 3,000 fans reportedly of Lyon have packed the stadium compared to the 15,000 or so, I believe, of Barça, who are slowly but surely exiting the stadium, leaving empty seats all around. This is, of course, a very new situation for this team, a team that has gone on to win 30 from 30 games in the domestic league and passing as well the tests that were thrown at them on at the European stage with flying colors. But at this point in time, you talk about self-criticism that this team needs to practice in order to bounce back stronger. That's really all that they can do at this point, isn't it? Because do you think it's down? I mean, we talked in the pregame about how confident these players seem, how also you mentioned the key word, how relaxed they are as well. Is there a chance that there was maybe a little bit of overconfidence?
I mean, I'm not sure about that. Like, you look at the game, did the manager get it wrong? No, I don't think so. Were they outsmarted. No, not really. The opposition were physical, more in their face, pressed them really high, a really good press as well. And Barça weren't sure what to do, and they were a little bit shook, and then it took them so long to get back on top of that. It was too late. And you're not forgetting that Lyon are an extremely direct team, and once those two goals gone in, 3 goals in the first 20-something minutes, it's good night, because what Lyon did was just sit back, and they're also renowned for their defending, so they're very, very good.
Yeah, they had an excellent balance, it seemed like, between attacking but also sitting deep and absorbing Barça's attack, because even though they were 3 goals down, it seemed like I mean, it might sound silly to say, but that Barça were fairly dominant still, and determined, of course, to still get some goals back.
They were completely dominant in that second half. Completely. They came out, and that 61% possession is more the second half than the first. I'm sure it was pretty even in the first. But the problem was they didn't put any penetrating passes in. They didn't exploit them where. They exploited them more in the first half, to be honest. And I'll say it again, Rolfo, Caroline Graham-Hansen were the keys. They stopped playing Caroline Graham-Hansen, whether her confidence dropped a bit because she wasn't that successful in the first half. And then Rolfo dropped so deep because she was so worried about Cascarino that she never got forward. So Lyon just completely mentally won.
And how much do you think some of these players were affected by ghosts from the 2019 past haunting them once they were 3 goals down? Is that something that plays on a player's mind during the game, or is that something? I'm
sure the first thought that came into their head was, we cannot concede anymore here, instead of let's get the ball and get 3 back. The way they conceded as well, it was like an onslaught, so it was like, oh, wait a minute, let's just calm things down, let's stop this happening. Whereas the mentality before was like, what, we're 3-0 down, come on, let's score 5. Maybe it wasn't that initially. But I think in the second half, when Lyon did drop off and Barca realised that they did have the bit of time, and they could bring Bon Madi into the game, who we didn't even mention in the first half. Alexi had a little bit more space. I think it was a good idea bringing Assisat on, but you also need that player to be very technical in there as well, because Assisat's great for closing the ball down, great for running onto balls. And they weren't playing the balls in behind. She was actually coming short to look for the ball, which I was like, why? Just stay up top, play it, let someone else get those balls in a little bit deeper. But
Spence, since we're still watching some images here, photos of earlier today, the Plaza Catalunya fans came out in full support of their team, of course, with the hope that they would win. But let's play a little bit of a game of role play, if you will.
Always.
Put yourself in the shoes of Jonathan Giraldez at this point in time, back in the locker room with his team. What would you say to your team? What would your first words be?
Well, I'm first of all, I'm telling them how proud I am of them for getting to this point, for accomplishing what they've accomplished. And I would tell them to let this sting for 24 hours, or however long you need, and then it's time to get back on your horse. Because, as we've mentioned, there's a game coming up this week. If they win that one against Madrid, there's a game coming up this week, next weekend. And beyond that, you have a full summer to let the rest of this sink in. We get back to work. I think that's one of the things that everybody who is on the pitch tonight or sitting on the bench will tell you, is that we want to get back to work. And the reason why games like this sting so much is because you don't get to go back out there and play another one in a week. Champions League finals come once a year, and they are very difficult just to get to. So they will have that drive and desire to get back to it next year. And if I'm Jonathan Giraldez, I'm telling all of them, you got this far. If you want to do it again, you have to continue to put in the work. And I'm here to help you with that.
Well, the first reactions are already coming in from the protagonist. We're going to hold out a little bit longer before we get to hear from our team. In the meantime, we're still seeing images of the reported 15,000 fans that traveled with the team all the way over to Turin, some coming from as far as China, Mexico, London, and of course also here locally from Barcelona, going on 10-hour, 13-hour bus rides. Also, I mean, for those fans, this has to be such a disappointment.
Yeah, you know, when I see a team lose like this with as much support as they had going into this game, both at the stadium, in Turin, in Plaza Catalunya, in Mollet de Vallès, you have to remember that these games are special. These games are rare. It seems like, it feels like Barca can win every game they play because, truthfully, they have that capability.
Yeah.
But let's go back to one of the things we talked about at the beginning of this broadcast, which was you can't be spoiled. You cannot expect to win every game. If you do that, then you build yourself up for disappointment because you're not going to win every title, every game. It's impossible. It cannot happen. So, and I think most of these fans will understand that the next thing they have to do is come back out and support them next year. And if and when Barca get back to this stage and they're ready to get back to the Champions League final stage again, I hope they show out with double the numbers.
Well, on that note, we're going to go out for a short break, but don't go anywhere because when we are back, we will hear from Jonathan Giraldez and a few of the players as well. So stay with us.
Hello, Goalers. This is Camp Nou Kitchen, the place where two Barça players will swap their jersey for an apron to play a different match. Empezamos en 3, 2, 1.
¿Y si me quemo, qué pasa?
Pre-kickoff. Today on Camp Nou Kitchen, two talented players from the Dream Team.
¡Míralo, míralo!
¿Listo?
Pedri González and Eric García.
Te espero. Si hubiese tocado algo mucho más difícil, yo creo que hubiésemos quemado la cocina.
They will cook a dish selected by the best nutritionist in the club.
Vale, chavales, xiquets, casi lo tenim. Go, 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 go.
Hola, gol de Eric.
Una salsa de Eric.
But just one of them can take home the Camp Nou Kitchen Cup. Oye, pero yo no esto es trampa.
No.
No, no es trampa, venga, también voy aquí, ayuda también.
Sí que és veritat que ha tingut una mica d'ajuda.
3, 2, 1.
Lo estás haciendo todo mal.
¡Manos arriba!
Ya está, ya me han robado. Picante.
Pica, picón.
El ganador de la Camp Nou Kitchen Cup es...
Eric.
Eric.
Pedri.
Debut en primera división versus primera titularidad con el primer equipo. Yo creo que me quedaría con la primera titularidad, porque al final era el día antes yo ya sabía que iba a salir titular y al final el jugar 10-15 minutos en tu debut, pues sí que estás nervioso, sí que hay esa tensión, pero la titularidad ya es como... se vive mucho más y fue precioso. La verdad es que fue un partido increíble, fue el partido que volvió Ansu y marcó el gol y es de los partidos que mejor recuerdo, sin duda. Primer gol oficial en Pamplona, primer gol en el Camp Nou contra el Elche. No tengo ninguna duda, el primer gol en el Camp Nou contra el Elche y fue espectacular el celebrarlo ahí con nuestra afición, el resultado, ¿no? Que fue en los últimos minutos y yo creo que quizá es el momento más especial que he tenido esta temporada. Dorsal 28 versus dorsal 14. Pues aquí me quedo sin duda con el 14, primero porque al final es del primer equipo y ya es un salto muy importante para mí y luego también porque es un número muy especial y en este club y en el mundo del fútbol por todo lo que significa y es un dorsal que siempre me ha gustado mucho y de hecho he llevado bastante y pues me quedo con eso. Ir al stage de pretemporada o el primer viaje oficial con el primer equipo. ¿Cuál fue el primer? Pues ya me acuerdo. Aquí me quedaría con el extras de pretemporada. Al final vienes nuevo, no conoces a tantos del primer equipo, empiezas a conocerlos y son momentos muy bonitos y que estás con una ilusión increíble.
Perfecto, Nico. Has funcionado solo.
Hola Ansu, ¿cómo estás?
Hola, buenas tardes, ¿qué tal?
Hoy estás aquí para ver tu propia serie y tú nos tendrás que ayudar a terminarla.
Perfecto.
Hola Ansu.
Buenas, Ansu.
Hola Ansu.
Ansu.
Wow. Yo soy de Guinea-Bissau.
Siempre él me pregunta qué yo hacía en España.
Crecer sin tu padre, sin haberlo visto nunca, pues es muy duro.
Ansu, tú eres niño, eres cariñoso, pero cuando tiene hambre no tiene amigo, ¿eh?
Arroz con pollo, ¿no?
¿Tú hablas criollo?
Sí, sí que lo hablo. Sí.
Ansu, te'n recordes quan venia de tot el col·legi?
Hola, y a mi Ansu, a mi jugador de Midfield la Masia.
Me acuerdo que tenía que frenar porque en exceso, remates con el hombro, chilenas y tal.
Venía de juego de la calle y bueno, siempre estaba haciendo bromas. ¿No es de Eric esto?
No es de Eric, son para ti.
Me acuerdo, ¿no? de todos los piques que teníamos ya desde muy pequeños para todo.
Eric el bueno y Ansu el malo. ¿Y en tus lesiones has rezado mucho?
Siempre pido salud para mi familia y siempre lo que pido es lo último para mí.
I debutarà amb 16 anys, Ansu Fati.
La verdad es que me acuerdo mucho del día que debutaste.
Fíjate, el día de debut lo hizo arroz.
Estaba cumpliendo mi mayor sueño y sobre todo pues en el mejor club del mundo.
Atenció, Ansu, continua Ansu Fati que xuta, gol! 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 Ha tornat Ansu Fati!
No calza brutal. Hola, me llamo Ansu. Hola, soy...
Hay uno de nuestros staff que me encanta la frase que él dice, porque yo, conmigo mismo, cuando yo estoy solo, yo la practico mucho, que es cómo me gusta ganar. Cómo me gusta ganar. ¿Sabes? Es mágico cuando ganas, ¿sabes? Pero no estoy hablando de un título, de una medalla. Estoy hablando de ganar, de ser un ganador, ¿sabes? De ser un ganador de la vida, de las pequeñas batallas, ¿sabes? Si tú te consigues ganar, tú eres un campeón. Porque al fin y al cabo, es siempre lo mejor de cada uno que hace un gran equipo, que hace un gran club. Lo mejor de cada uno, de las personas que limpian, de las personas que regan, de las personas que cuidan el césped, de la gente que prepara todo eso, que deja todo. Porque al fin y al cabo, ellos son la parte imprescindible de nuestro trabajo, no nosotros, ¿eh? Todos estos que hacen con que el espectáculo suceda son la parte imprescindible de nuestro trabajo. Entonces, yo creo que nosotros solo somos una parte más importante. No creo yo. Nosotros seríamos como los cuando tiran un cohete, ¿no? Que explota.
Los fuegos artificiales.
Exacto.
Los fuegos artificiales, ¿no?
Exacto. Sí, los fuegos artificiales.
Fireworks.
Nosotros somos las luces. Entonces, por eso, nosotros tenemos que ser muy agradecidos a todos ellos, a cada uno de ellos, que hacen con que el espectáculo suceda. Al final, sin un buen palco, no hay un gran show. Y ellos son mágicos, tanto cuanto nosotros.
Ara estàs al top 5 de partits jugats a la història del club i arribes als 600 partits. No sé si et dona una mica de vertigen, pensar en això.
No, és una xifra molt important, una carrera soñada, no? Si m'ho haguessin dit quan jugava a les categories inferiors i quan vaig entrar a l'escola, doncs ho hagués firmat 100%.
Et proposem un recorregut per la teva vida aquí al Barça a través de fotografies. Aquest dia el recordes?
Sí, home, i tant, el recordo molt bé. Era complir un somni. Et diria que és complir el somni.
T'imaginaves tot el que vindria després? Aquest partit al Wanda, aquesta lesió al genoll, és el moment més complicat?
Amb diferència. També en part em va fer més fort, em va fer valorar més encara el fet de continuar jugant a futbol i d'intentar-ho fer quan més anys millor i vestint la samarreta del Barça. I ara, si estic aquí i seguim estant competint, també en part és per aquesta lesió que em va fer, com et dic, valorar tot el que representa seguir estant aquí. Per mi ha sigut un somni tot aquest viatge, espero allargar-lo el màxim possible per intentar jugar al club sempre que les forces donguin.
Bé, Gerard, hi ha unes quantes persones que et volen dir alguna cosa. A veure amb qui comencem.
Gerard, has gaudit de meravellosos moments en el decurs de la teva carrera esportiva amb el Barça.
Geri, 600 partits, quin orgull, quin patiment cada partit d'aquests. Però no et pots imaginar el que hem arribat a disfrutar tots d'aquests moments. Només m'ha faltat una cosa, que el meu pare hagués pogut disfrutar d'un d'aquests partits. I hagués pagat qualsevol cosa per això. Però això, estem encantats i felicitats, per tal com ets.
Hola, Geri. Enhorabona pels 600 partits.
Estimat Gerard, qui ho havia de dir que arribaries a 600 partits jugant amb aquesta camiseta que nosaltres portem al cor?
Moltes felicitats, Gerard. T'estimo.
Hola, papa! Com estàs? T'estimo molt i molt bona sort tan a partit d'avui. Papa, moltes felicitats per el partit de 600. T'estimo molt.
Y disfruta mucho sobre todo porque te lo ha ganado a pulso y te lo mereces.
Welcome back to Barça Live, where slowly but surely we're going to be ending the broadcast as Jonathan Giraldez is addressing the press. But before we leave, some final reactions from our studio panel as, Barça lost at the hands of Lyon once again. Lyon becoming somewhat as of a bestia negra, as they say in Spanish. I don't find the words in English. A dark horse? Is that the right?
That would work.
Yeah? Is that what they go? Okay.
I would call them more of an underdog at this point today. I think they were coming into the game as the underdog.
Okay.
Yeah, dark horse candidate.
All right.
Just the nightmare for Barça, basically. Just someone that normal teams wouldn't want to play, but Barça will want to play because they have a point to prove.
Yeah.
But they did it again. It's the same type of thing. Barça did a lot better this time, don't get me wrong, and they competed against them. But Lyon just came out. They showed they're physically better. They showed that they know how to win, which sometimes Barca's still learning that a little bit. And they know that they don't have to play a certain way. They just play to win, and they showed that today. And it's shown in the second half because we wanted them to play a little bit. It didn't happen.
Well, with those final thoughts of Emma Byrne, we will leave you now with Jonathan Giraldez as he addresses the press. So make sure that you stay tuned for tomorrow's Barça Live for the final match of La Liga Santander, where Barça hosts Villarreal over at the Camp Nou. We will see you then. Bye-bye.
Gracias.
Bueno, preveiem segurament una pressió alta per part d'ells.
Well, we expected a high pressure from Olympique Lyon, and the first goal was an astonishing one, and this has changed a little bit our plan. We lost many balls,
i si ha permet córrer. Sabíem que era una de les claus, intentar controlar el nostre joc.
They have started running. We knew that it was going to be difficult to stop their transitions.
De córrer masses vegades enrere.
and we haven't been able to stop them well in some minutes.
Energia. Tot així, l'equip ha fet un gran esforç, intentar...
However, the team has done a good effort, scoring an early goal,
com és l'Endler, i després del...
facing a really top goalkeeper like Endler, and with the 3-1 down, and our feelings was another one. But yeah, we let in many goals. Situations in a game that you try to work, but we have to congratulate our opponents. They have a great squad, and we have to congratulate them for winning the Champions League.
Over here, please. Bona nit, Jonathan. Ricard Torquemada de Catalunya Ràdio. Ara fa 3 anys vau extreure la lectura...
Jonathan, 3 years ago, there was a big physical difference. Today, you lost many balls.
Moltes eren en situació de contacte o de desestabilització.
And the feeling is that all these balls lost was in tough situations. Alexia has been talking about missing competitive rhythm during a season. Which aspects are you learning today? Well, I don't want to find excuses. Lyonnais has played a great game, and I think we have players that can hold the ball and fight in the battles, but sometimes you cannot be able to win all the duels, to attack better, sometimes to play a bit faster. Some aspects of the game that we try to improve. And about the competitive rhythm during the season, it doesn't depend on us. Our objective in each game is to play at a high level in each match, but now the only thing we can do is to continue working hard to be back in a final and win a Champions League.
Over here, please.
Hola, Jonathan. Bona nit. M'agradaria preguntar-te, sobretot després d'un partit d'avui, quan veus tota la teva afició amb el recolzament...
Well, Jonathan, after seeing all the fans, all the supporters since the first minute to the last one, I want to know which message do you want to send to all Barça fans? Well, I feel really sorry for all the fans that have traveled 14, 15 hours by bus, some of our fans, and all the fans have been supporting us, although we were losing, and to all our fans supporting us at the Johan Cruyff Stadium, also at the Camp Nou with our world record, having key to achieve all what we have achieved. Unfortunately, we lost today, and we are sad for all our fans that have traveled to Italy. They have been with us, and our feeling was that we were playing at home. But yeah, unfortunately, we lost, and they deserved a Champions League.
Hola, ¿qué tal, Jonathan? Lo primero, felicidades por la temporada.
First of all, congratulations for all what you achieved this season. I want to know how is the locker room now, because you still have to play the Copa de la Reina. Do you think this can affect the club, or you will recover soon the locker room? Well, after losing a final like this one, you feel sad, and that's logic. But these are experiences that are part of the competition. Sometimes you win, other times you learn. And now we have to grow mentally with the intention to be a better team. Because today our level hasn't been the best one to beat Olympique Lyon. And we still have to fight for a competition. So now we will have time to recover and prepare well this game, and that's our main responsibility, to win a title in play.
One here in the front, please.
Bona nit, Jonathan. Maria Ticas, del diari Sport. Has fet uns canvis en el descans i a l'inici de la segona part. Pots explicar una mica què...
Can you explain the substitutions?
Un canvi de plantejament i, bueno, això, què buscaves amb els canvis?
Sí, bueno, la idea era...
Well, our idea
la sensació de que
and our feeling was that
relativament clares, amb superioritat per dins, i després ens faltava una mica
we were winning spaces,
de profunditat i el fet
and we also had a lack of
amb espais, intentar atacar la seva...
spaces up front, and with Oshoala, I think we improved a little bit in this aspect, arriving to the final third.
El cas de la Lique i de l'Anna, el cas de l'Anna sobretot era gestionar les situacions, aquesta situació
basically,
de 1 contra 1, i també
we wanted to manage well transitions and also more energy in attack.
Afegir jugadores a l'atac. Anna té aquests recursos que a nivell condicional pot defensar i pot
atacar. She has these resources to attack and defend at the same time. She got a really good chance finishing to the far post, and Irene is a forward, well, with all the resources you have in the field, basically, was to have more options in attack. Hasn't been enough. The team did a brilliant effort, and we have to congratulate Olympique Lyon.
One at the very back, please. Yeah, in the middle. No, the gentleman in the white shirt.
Hola, Jonathan. Habíamos hablado mucho David Menayo del diario Marca, perdón. Habíamos hablado mucho en la previa de favoritismos. No sé si crees que al equipo le ha podido pesar
do you think that pressure has been
generarse demasiada ansiedad?
Important?
No, la verdad, la presión previa no existe.
No, not really. I know really well our players, our staff, and all what we were experiencing before game was positive, and we're not talking about being favorites or not. We knew that we had to compete at a really high level to beat a really good team. But to let in a goal so early, of course, it affects you a lot.
Para seguir pues teniendo situaciones donde prácticamente cada llegada era una ocasión de peligro. Han tenido muy buenas acciones técnicas.
They have improved, and it has gave them confidence.
El remate de Ada, que son situaciones
lots of opportunities that
trabajadas, pero que siguen teniendo.
Of course, we have been working, but they are level with a high level, and we have suffered defending in some parts of this match.
Y hace poco que ha acabado el partido.
Game has ended.
En ningún momento ha tirado la toalla el equipo.
Minutes ago, but I think that the team has
cada vez a más jugadoras en área, pero no ha sido suficiente.
Tried until the end, but it hasn't been enough.
Hola, Jonathan. Fernando Cardenal, de Radio Nacional de España. Por cómo se había puesto el año, por lo bonito que estaba siendo el camino, ¿crees que
do you think that this defeat hurts you more than the one in Budapest? All defeats are tough. Today was an important day
girar un poco la historia a nuestro favor por
to try and change history in our favor after all our defeats against Olympique Lyon, because they have been leading women's football in recent years. And today was a good chance to show our level and win the Champions League.
No hemos sido capaces.
But we haven't been able to win the trophy. They've played better than us, and yes, now we have to continue believing, working hard to show a better level as a team, individually, and let's see if we are more lucky in the next Champions League.
Gentleman in the short. Yeah.
Hola, Jonathan, bona nit. Albert Postfils a futfem.cat. Et volia preguntar, perquè t'hem vist al final del partit parlant amb Irene Paredes. No sabia si...
My question is, if you can explain us which words have you exchanged with Irene Paredes after the final whistle?
Parlant després del partit, intentant analitzant...
Well, basically, we were trying to analyze small details.
La primera situació del partit amb el tir exterior d'Henry, després la
opportunities and the first goal, a long shot from Henry.
Que les havien de defensar bé, però són conversacions que es fan
well, basically,
al final del partit, típiques de
our
valoració.
conversations after the final whistle.
I, evidentment, la decepció.
And of course, we are really down because
que s'ha desplaçat avui a Torí.
Our supporters haven't been able to enjoy a victory.
One last question online from Stephen Oga from the Daily Scrum. No. Yeah, does that work? No. Okay, took it down. Good. Thank you very much for your questions.